Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Storytime with the Scarish Podcast.
Woo!
I'm Robin Grace, and this is Adam Diaz.
Hello.
And we're here to read you guys some homegrown horrors.
Indeed we are. I'm really excited. We are recording at a different time than we normally are, so today is Tuesday, in case you haven't noticed. It has played hell with my brain, because I keep thinking it's Wednesday literally all day.
A lot of people have been like,
yeah.
What day is it?
What year is it? Seriously, man.
Okay, so, it's 2019 now.
It is 2019.
Adam's already said 2018 in the year of 2019.
Have I?
Yeah, you said it yesterday.
When?
I don't know, sometime during
Just
recording.
Just making it up. Probably true, though.
Okay. But our homegrown horrors, do you want to say what they are?
Sure.
You want me? Okay.
A homegrown horror is essentially a spiritual, paranormal, coincidental, or just weird experience that has happened to you or someone you know. It's a story that you've heard. And it's one that you want to share with us. And if you want to do that, you can email storytime@scarish.com. That is our email address. If you want to share it through a variety of different ways, you can go to a bunch of different places. One of the easiest is scarish.com, which is our website. You can click Contact Us, and you can just fill out the form right there and just send it to us.
Yep.
And if you have any other information that you want to send our way, whether it's through email, it has our email address there, which I just told you, in case you forget. And it also has our P.O. box. We have an unboxing video that's going to be coming out tonight, hopefully tomorrow morning. We'll see how late I stay up to edit that thing. But anyways, if you want to reach out to us through the other social medias, facebook.com/scarishpodcast, Twitter is @scarishpod, Instagram is @scarishpodcast. So there's just a bunch of different ways that you can reach out to us if you'd like to, and we always... Bless you.
Sorry.
We always love to hear from you. Discord is another great way, the best way to get there. Go to scarish.com, the website. Scroll down, and on the right-hand side, you'll see all of our social media links. Just click on the Discord one, and it'll take you right there. So those are all the different ways that you can reach out to us. And I always like to point out that you don't have to send us something that we share on the podcast. If you just want someone to talk to, you can reach out to us that way as well.
Yeah.
And we're totally happy to speak to you about whatever it is.
The Discord, too, is really,
yeah,
really
we have
supportive.
A mental health chat, which is not like mental health professionals.
No.
It's just people that are going through some shit that are getting through it together. So that's a great place to go, and it's really nice to see you folks go there, because like I was saying, like, it took about a week off from the Discord because there's just like so many notifications going on, and I went back in there and I saw just people helping each other, and it was just really amazing to realize that is the community we're lucky enough to have had build up around this little crazy thing we do.
It's really cool.
It is. And before we get into the first story, I did want to say that it is January, which means it's January Patreon push time.
Oh gosh, okay.
We got 2 new patrons today. I'm super excited about it. Thank you folks for signing up. If you guys would like to join them, go to patreon.com, which is spelled Patreon.
Oh wow, you're spelling it out.
.com/scarishpodcast.
How do you spell .com?
.com. No, COM.
Oh.
Everyone knows that. And then Scarish Podcast, like you would imagine it's spelled. But if you go there, you can sign up for as little as $1 a month. And I said this before, I'm going to say it again. Anything impulse that you buy, whether it's McDonald's, you're like, you know what, I'm going to toss a McChicken sandwich on that order because they're delicious. Or if you walk by a vending machine, you're like, I want a Coca-Cola. Maybe I want a candy bar. That's going to be more money than it would be.
$5 on a coffee.
I know. I've seen
our
bank account. She's the super gold, super platinum account at Starbucks.
Because it's like every day.
She's opened branches by herself.
Shut up.
Legitimately.
But it's the same thing. If you think you're going to go out buy a Starbucks, you might as well help us out.
It's $1. You sign up. It takes the $1 out right away. And then once a month at the beginning of each month, it's going to take it out. You get early access to all our stuff. At $3, you get to help us choose topics. I think at $10 is when you start getting the pins or the pullbacks or whatever they call them. And there's a whole bunch of different stuff just based off of what...
Zipper pulls?
Zipper pulls. That's it. It's all based off of what you guys want to donate. But we're trying to push to 50 so we can get over to the Winchester Mansion. And apparently so I can wear a cheerleader uniform.
Only by the end of the month. If it's by the end of January...
That's the cheerleader uniform.
That's the cheerleader uniform.
Regardless, when we get to 50, we're going to the Winchester Mansion. But let's make that happen soon, people. So thank you so much for the folks who've already signed up, and we really appreciate you. So before we do anything else, I don't think there's anything else to talk about. So are you going to go first, or am I going to go first?
Did I go first on the episode?
I have. You did.
Okay,
you did go first.
Then okay, I'll just go first again. That way, next week it'll be you, because I'm doing the main topic next week.
It's a whirlwind. We recorded last night. We're recording tonight. After we're done with the show, we're recording another episode that's going to go up next week. And then after that, I'm going to edit the video. And then after that, I'm going to pack. And then at 5 a.m., we're headed to the airport to fly out. So
it's going to be crazy.
I'm
kind of like, I was at work today, just like stressed out. Like, I have to do this, and this, and I still have to pack. Is laundry done yet? I was just like,
laundry is done, so everyone knows. It's just like, it's going to be a heck. I don't think I'm going to sleep at all. I honestly don't. I'll probably sleep on the plane, which is a good thing. But yeah, so, you know, enough complaining about our lives and how we get to go see family members and talk to all you wonderful people. Let's read your stories to you. So go ahead, Robin.
So This one email that we're going to go right into is titled My Haunted Ass House. And it goes, Hi, Robin and Adam.
Hello.
Hello. Love your podcast. I'm a newer listener on Spotify and enjoy getting extra spooky at work with all of you telling stories to my ears. All right.
I like how that sounded.
Yeah. This is a bit of a story, but telling it really helps come to terms with my childhood.
Okay. I'm digging in now. I'm thinking about traumatic memories from my childhood that I would possibly send in an email. So.
I hope it's not traumatic.
I hope so, too.
I hope it's memorable, not traumatic.
Maybe embarrassing, but not traumatic embarrassing. I'm hoping it's nothing bad, but it's just something funny to share. So let's get to it.
So this is a bit of a story, but telling it really helps. I read that already. I don't know what I'm doing. I grew up in a super duper haunted ass house that I didn't even know was haunted until I moved away for college. Here's a bit of history. I grew up in a small lake town called Skaneateles. It's like Skaneateles.
I think you nailed that. That sounds about right.
You
got a really skinny atlas there on you.
Okay. In central New York and in general. It's a pretty haunted town being established during the 1800s and a stop on the Underground Railroad. Ooh.
Wow. It's weird to think about because I just did that topic on Spanish flu and you hear about like all these epidemics and pandemics that have happened everywhere.
Yeah.
And you're just kind of like, how is nowhere not haunted?
Yeah.
It's also kind of an explanation for that question that people ask, like, how come there's no ghosts from 2005 screaming, I love Britney, bitch, or whatever that quote is?
I think it's because they're being smothered by the ghosts of the 1900s.
It's because there's so many more ghosts from stuff where it's like you died of toe foot. So it's just constant, like, because the medical advances have happened and now we don't have to worry about that as much.
For next week.
Do you have toe foot in there?
Yes.
We have made that fucking joke so many times,
Yes.
but I really like that movie.
It's a very cute movie. Seth MacFarlane. Hit me up.
A Million Ways to Die in the West. Did you just ask him to hit you up?
Yeah.
Okay, Charlize Theron, hit me up. Seriously.
I think Seth MacFarlane is ridiculously attractive.
I think he's very handsome and charming.
Charming.
Yeah.
Absolutely charming. Anyway.
Side note, this is the part of the podcast we call Celebrities We Want to Bang, which seems to crop up like every fucking episode.
Anyway, Harriet Tubman lived in the closest city to my town, Auburn. So that's kind of cool.
That is really cool.
My house was built in the mid-1800s, and then an addition was added in the 70s. But basically, the bones of the house were built during the Civil War. That's crazy.
It's a tumultuous time to build a house, I'm not going to lie.
My basement was, and still is, a no-no. I believe it, no basements. It's below the water line, so it floods constantly. That sucks.
That does suck. I feel your pain growing up right next to a lake. Because, like, you dig a little bit, and you will be below the fucking water line. Like, especially the closer you are to the lake.
What?
Yeah, no joke, dude. And you have this layer of clay before the water line that's, like, fucking impossible to dig through.
Well, we have clay here.
Yeah, but it's rough back there. I don't want to get into it.
That's why we don't have basements out here.
I don't want to get into it. So.
I don't want to get into it. I hate you.
I hate you.
So, even when we had a dog, he wouldn't go down there, and that's where we kept his food.
Aw.
That sucks.
That poor dog.
There are 4 chambers. One has the boiler and the fridge. One back room has the creepiest window and shelves of mason jars.
You have a basement that has things you call chambers. I think that's especially fucking creepy.
Is there a chamber of secrets?
I hate you so. I felt it coming, and I was just like, no, she's going to pull this Harry Potter reference out of her ass. This does give me a good idea, though. Like, when I get my own house, if it does have a basement, I'm putting the dinner table down there because fuck everyone.
What?
Yeah, that's right.
Why?
Just saying. Because, I mean, you just force people to go where they're scared. And then they won't be as scared of it anymore.
No.
Or they'll be possessed or whatever, and we'll just see what happens.
Okay. Anyway, one has the boiler and the closest feeling air. I'm going to say coldest. One has the boiler and the coldest feeling air in the world. And the deepest chamber is legit the scariest place on Earth. Because it was a root cellar. What's a root cellar?
I don't know.
Is it where you keep your roots?
It's a cellar where you store your roots. Sure. By roots, I mean
it's where you put your family history.
I was going to say, by roots, I mean your older deceased family members get stored in that cellar, obviously. I don't know. Someone let us know what a root cellar is in the chat, because we're clearly ignorant on this topic.
It was supposed to be a different temperature than the rest of the basement, but whenever we had to do anything down there for repairs and whatnot, salamanders, snakes, and all sorts of weird, creepy crawlies would just show up. Even repairmen who looked at the boiler would comment on how creepy our basement was. My sister's room, I guess, was good for my sister, but any time that I would go in there, I always got a serious sense of dread. Now I'm
The room itself keeps you. It's like that's a sibling's dream, man. Because you're always like, get out of my room if you have your own room.
But then what if you're the sibling that ends up being possessed because it's your room?
Well, it sounds like this is a protective room, and it was like everyone else stay the fudge out.
I don't know. Well, maybe
We're speculating wildly on this.
Maybe it's just like you as a person give off so much hateful vibes. Like, get the fuck out.
It reverberates off your walls,
Yeah.
but it makes you feel at home.
Yeah.
I like that. I like that a lot.
Now, I'm the misbehaving younger brother, so that makes sense. But when my sister went to college, I jokingly was like, I'm going to take your room and have 2 rooms. I spent 1 night in there and never again. I literally had the worst night's sleep and experienced my first sleep paralysis and felt as though the room didn't want me there. Mind you, I'm 15 and I didn't know anything about ghosts or hauntings or anything.
It reminds me of that episode of The Simpsons. It's an old Treehouse of Horror where they mimic kind of like the Amityville Horror mixed with Poltergeist because they move into a haunted house and the house literally starts saying like, get out. And it talks to Bart and it's like, kill them, Bart. Kill them all. And his response naturally is, are you my conscience?
Oh my God.
And the house goes, yes. It's so fucking funny. Back when The Simpsons was like the greatest show on TV. So this is what it's kind of like reminding me of just a little bit, but only for that specific room. Continue.
All right.
My bad, dog.
My room was the most haunted of all of them. My room was always a different temperature than the rest of the house, and the thermostats didn't work. So no matter how we replaced this, hold on. What? So the thermostats didn't work no matter how many times they replaced the system.
Cool. Got it.
I slept with the light on until I was 13 because literally it was the darkest place on earth. Holy crap, I can't read.
But did you sleep with one eye open, gripping your pillow tight?
I knew it.
Yep.
Yeah.
You knew that was coming.
My friends who slept over would comment how dark and ominous my room got at night, and it was freaky. Puberty was rough because I not only would wake up every night for months at 3 a.m. in terror, but I also saw a full-body apparition walk through a wall next to my headboard.
It's not a normal puberty thing. That's pretty fucked up. That does sound like your puberty was rough.
Wait, when did your voice break?
I don't know. Probably 6th grade, 5th grade?
One day were you just talking, you were like, whoa.
I had a kid voice, and then this is what happens to most guys, at least I think. It happened to me. I had a normal kid voice, and then I started maturing into my grown-up voice, and I started to sound like a girl. And I sounded like it was really high, and I sounded like a girl, and my voice would break all the time. And it was just there was this period of time where I'd answer the phone because we had a house phone. We didn't have cell phones yet. Not everyone had a phone number that was attached to their person, so someone would call the house and say, "Can I speak to this person?" And I used to answer the phone. What's fucking crazy is I have to explain that, and I'm only 33. But I'd answer the phone, and I'd be like, "Hello," and people would be like, "Linda?" And that's my mom. And I'd be like, "No," and I'd hang up, or I'd put the phone down and be like, "Mom, it's for you." And, like, that happened for a while, and then all of a sudden I had this voice. But I think by like 9th grade, because between like I left from like summer vacation from 8th grade to 9th grade, and I was like 5'5", and I came back and I was this height in 3 months. So my summer vacation, I came back and everyone was like, "What the fuck happened?" I'm like, "What's up, bitch? I have a beard. Like, what are you gonna do?" So it was really cool to go back and see all these kids who like.
That's funny because that's when I came to school and I had a beard too.
Really? You should shave it sometime.
I gotta shave my mustache.
That's funny. Keep going.
Anyway. La 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 la. Hold on, I forgot where I was. I'll find it in a second. Okay. In addition, when I brought a cheap TV home from school when I was a freshman, it straight up turned on by itself a few times in the middle of the night. No thanks.
I mean, we've mentioned this before, but it's a scary thing because as an adult now, we have lights that flicker. And I don't know what's scarier, thinking there might be a ghost fucking with our lights or thinking that we have severe electrical problems in the house.
My fear is how much it's going to cost to fix the electrical.
Like, I am more afraid of it being something we have to fix or it starting a fire. Legitimately more afraid of that than it being a ghost.
We didn't start the fire.
I hate you so much.
Okay. Anyway.
How many references can we put into one person's email? This has been a rough one. They're probably sitting there like, get to my fucking story.
What no one told me about the house was there was a child that drowned in our pool in the 70s. It was a little girl who stayed in my room.
Whoa.
I eventually became obsessed with the macabre since my early 20s, so I figured something was up and convinced my mom to sleep in my room while I was living in New York City. And if she felt it was haunted, to call a medium because I wasn't going to sleep in my room again. My mom called a local medium. Okay, so that must mean she stayed in it and was like, holy crap, it's haunted. I'm calling someone.
Yeah, that's what it sounds like. I mean,
So
if your parents don't believe in, you're like, sleep in there. And then they sleep in there and they're like, we're calling a fucking medium. Clearly they experienced something or were creeped out enough to suddenly believe you.
yeah.
And it's like, even if they don't want to tell you they believe you now.
My mom called a local medium who came in and gave us this info that my room and my sister's room were a part of the original house. They were there when 2 brutal murders happened during the Civil War. Fuck.
Right?
A mother and a daughter were tied up, tortured, raped, and then murdered by marauders during the 1860s.
Okay, here's the thing. Pops into my head. A medium tells you that. Obviously, you're going to say that's really creepy, but, like, is there record of this? Because if not, a medium could just pop in and be like, you want to hear the horrible fucked up shit that happened in your room? And she could tell you all that, and you could be like, oh, the house was built in 2006. You know, it's like sometimes I don't trust mediums. I feel like they tell you something that's really intense because if they scare you, then you'll feel like they're the person that is there to protect you. So you'll fork over some fucking money. You know what I mean? That's just the skeptic in me where if someone told me that, I'd be like, let me validate and verify this like through like some records that had to have been kept. I can't imagine a double homicide, even during the Civil War, wouldn't have been kept on the books somewhere. But who the fuck knows? I don't know how they kept records back in the 1860s. So
I have no idea.
Cool.
That'd be something cool to know. I'm sure they kept them in books like normal people.
I don't know. I mean, I don't know like their system or where I could go to find them. I mean, like my old town, like you could just go online and they've digitized or digitalized or however the fuck you say that word. They've done it for everything, but not all towns have done that. So
I don't know. They weren't necessarily haunting us. They for sure left their negative energy and it was fucking my stuff up. The medium smudged the place and cleansed it, thank God. My room now feels 100% different, and I can sleep through the night when I visit, and it doesn't feel like a black pit of fear when I turn the lights out. That's really cool. The basement is still awful. I believe it. The medium couldn't do much about that fear factory, but I'm glad my parents' place is safe for them now, and they just sold it and are moving, so no more creepy Christmases.
That's hilarious.
Thanks for reading. Love you all. And have a great Halloween.
A little bit late on that one, but that's our fault, not yours. So happy Halloween, Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah, Happy New Year, and
what about all the other holidays? That's fucked up.
What other holidays?
Just say Happy Holidays.
Cool, Happy Holidays. I miss Thanksgiving. My bad, dog. So yeah, that was really good. That's a good one to start the show off with, I think.
Yeah.
So thank you for sending that. We really, really appreciate it. Let's take a quick look over into Stream Chat and see what you folks have had to say to start the show. I'm very excited that you guys are here and joining us because you guys make this way more fun.
Yeah.
Otherwise, I just have to talk to Robin all the time, and that's just the worst.
People wish they could talk to me.
I hate you so much. I see over on YouTube, there's not a lot of chitter chat going on over there. Eric Rojas says, hi. I say hi back. Hi, Erica.
Yeah, a lot of people are confused that it's Tuesday. It's just a weird day.
I keep forgetting that it's going to be different. We're not going to have the turnout we normally have. It might just be different people, but whatever.
Amber says your face is naked.
Thank you.
It's not really that naked. He's got some stuff growing.
My stubble's coming in.
I put makeup on his face, and now he's super pretty.
Thank you for that. Now that we have this new camera that is just really good, and we've set the white balance that it actually kind of matches what the room looks like, it definitely highlights something that the GoPro didn't, which is my rosacea, which is my rosy red cheeks. So I asked Robin to take care of that for me. It doesn't take too much. It's maybe 60 seconds worth of just like, you're
super
good.
Quick. Because it's not like HD. Like if it were HD, you'd be like, ugh.
Look at his pores. They're fucking disgusting. But yeah, I'm very happy that she's making me look prettier. But yeah, it's growing back in. We're going to Jersey. And I'm kind of worried because my face is a little bit bare, and it's definitely going to be really fucking cold.
I need lip balm is what I need. I need some, what is that stuff? Carmex? Carmex? Zwalza says, ooh, tattoo. The first time we ever had a live stream that I showed my tattoo on, afterwards I posted a picture of it onto my Twitter. So if you want to see it, it's on my Twitter. Just scroll through there.
Looks like Mags is here. Anthony is here. Everyone's saying what's up.
What's up?
Erica says my brother is happy because he got a 666 Bulbasaur. That's funny because it's probably garbage. Is it a wonder? That's the question.
It's funny because our friend, one of our really close friends, says that someone had started collecting all these 666 Pokemon.
So goddamn funny.
And then Pokemon Go had an update where they started either nerfing numbers, whatever, balancing pretty much.
Yes.
And all the numbers
changed. Some went up, some went down. So all their Satan Pokemon were no longer Satan Pokemon anymore.
I just thought that was the
guy was
funniest
so pissed
thing.
about it. Alexandra's here. Hello, Alexandra. I'm so glad you didn't miss the show. It looks like Emma, it's their first time live. David Kripe is here. It's his first live stream as well. I know David.
Oh, really?
I was very close friends with David's older brother, and David, when he got a little bit older, old enough where he could hang out with us and drink, would hang out with us too. The Kripes are a wonderful family, and I love them from the bottom of my heart. I stood up in Jimmy's wedding. Yeah.
What? You've stood up in way too many weddings.
I stood up in a lot of weddings.
Including this year.
Got two. Maybe three. Most likely just two. But yeah, Jimmy, I think, was the first of our friends to get married. He married his high school sweetheart.
Did he eat the world?
What? Oh, I fucking hate you so much, dude.
Okay.
I hate you so much right
Ori
now.
says, trying out the Twitch on my phone while I'm casting to YouTube, or casting the chat. So YouTube chat and
watching on something,
Twitch.
Talking on something else.
Also, their family doesn't believe that this is live, so say hi.
Hello, family that doesn't believe
family.
this is live. Looks like it's Julia's first time watching a live show. It's really cool switching days because we get to see a new group of people that watch the show, and it's just really fun because I am always shocked that people actually listen or watch, and I'm just like, I think what we do, I think we make decent content. I really do, and I think we're picky about the topics we want to do, and I think we're meticulous on how we put them out there. But it's just like anything that you do, you kind of assume everyone's going to fucking hate. You know what I mean?
I hate it.
It's like I have confidence when I do it. Then when it comes out, I'm just like, man, I hope people don't fucking hate that because I just don't know. You just never know. You know, it's just kind of how it is.
I have a very weak shell. It's like...
She's very thin-skinned.
I'm very thin-skinned. So, like, certain things I'm just like...
She's a huge shit talker for someone with such thin skin, and that's the truth.
Yeah. YouTube is a few seconds behind, so that's interesting. I believe it. So
sometimes
it's like
YouTube
they're timed differently.
is like 3 to 5 seconds off from Twitch, but it's not that bad. We still get your chat, and we're still going to answer you, so no big deal.
Zwalzo says they usually stream on their PS4 and are on the phone so that they can chat. Today they're on their laptop, so it's weird.
Ulrich says, y'all just blew my mom's mind.
Really?
You're welcome. You're welcome,
Nice.
Ulrich's mom.
That's cute.
A root cellar is underground or partially underground and used for storage of vegetables. I'm guessing it's supposed to be vegetables, fruits, nuts, or other foods. So thank you, Mom, for letting us know. I think someone else also let us know further up on the chat. I just didn't scroll up.
Yeah. So I think that's cool, having a root cellar that you can store food in.
It's like an underground refrigerator.
I have heard of, in different countries, I don't know if it's Korea or Japan, they have like a kimchi fridge that they have underground. I don't know.
If you put stuff in front of me and said which one is kimchi, I would just be guessing, to be honest with you. I think it's the red stuff, right?
What red stuff?
I don't know. I don't fucking know. I'm telling you right now, I don't know what kimchi is.
Oh my gosh.
Alexander says, don't be shocked. This is the thing I look forward to most every week. Oh, thank you, Alexander. We appreciate that.
Glitch asked what happened to the unboxing vid. What happened to it?
It is coming out. Like, I literally, no joke, have been editing it. I had to get it off the fucking camera. I had to get it onto the computer. I had to relearn Premiere. And it'll most likely be out tonight. I'm halfway through editing it. I had to find some background music because our audio was kind of shit, and then I had to figure out how to get rid of like the hissing in the background before I could even start doing like the video itself. Also, thank you so goddamn much. I can't wait to put Vigo the Carpathian up on my wall.
Oh, I'm so
spoilers for those of you who are watching right now that plan on watching the video. We got some really good shit this Christmas, and I am so happy about it.
Yeah, I need to go shopping for poster frames now because they're sick.
They are.
I'm so excited.
And Vigo is big too. He's not just like He's got that big dick energy I need up on the wall right there.
Okay, so, Oh, BT Dubs, Glitch, we did finish your shirt. I put moderator on the sleeve because I made my sister do it.
We made it really nice and special.
It was really cute. And there's so much chat today. So much chat.
There's not a lot over on YouTube, but that's okay.
Girl Panic says, my brother's 11 and in the 6th grade, and his voice is kind of starting to break. It's really funny.
It's just like, you know what it is? It's that Linkin Park song. 'Cause I'm about to break.
Wow. Let's see.
Erica over on YouTube says, I try to catch them when I can. Quick and random question, Robin. How many classes are you taking this semester? I'm taking 3. Astrology, math, and public speech.
Nice. I'm taking 2. I was going to take 3, but I don't want to fail any classes. So originally I was going to take Calc 3 and Dynamics and then Physics of Deformable Buildings. I think something like that. And I ended up not doing dynamics yet, but I'm going to do deformable buildings or deformable structures and Calc 3. So hopefully I pass them all and it'll be great.
So 2, maybe 3.
So I'm going to have 2 or 3. It depends on whether or not I want to get murdered this semester.
I remember my sophomore year in college, I took speech as well. And it was weird because my sophomore year in high school, I took speech, and it was with a friend of mine's mom. And I knew she was a rough teacher, but she taught you the correct way. So I was like, if I take her shit seriously, I'll be okay. And she taught us really well, and we knew exactly what we needed to do for proper speeches. So when I got to college, I'm like, this is going to be a fucking breeze. Like, I already know what I'm doing. Like, I know my form as well. And it was the first time I'd ever dealt with anxiety. And it just hit me like, speech was easy for me in high school because I knew everyone because we had been to middle school together, and some of them we had been to elementary school together. And now I was in a brand new room with a bunch of people I didn't know.
Sorry, my sock
And
came off.
it was the first time I had been struck with like intense anxiety, because I was like, I am so terrified of being judged right now. Like, and I really was. And I had to like refine that attitude in my head of like, you know what? Like, who fucking cares? And everyone says like, picture everyone naked. That doesn't work for me, because then I'm just like, I would have sex with her and her.
Oh my God,
and
shut
maybe him.
up.
It's like, don't picture everyone naked. That doesn't fucking work for everyone.
Ulri's mom is watching.
What I did, and this helped me out so much, is I pretended that no one else was there. I just acted like, because I used to be on the announcements, like in high school, it used to come up on the TV, and like it would just be me, a co-host, and my buddy Garrett behind the camera, and that was it. But it was going out to hundreds of people, but it never bothered me. I never got nervous for that. Just because it's like they're not in the room with me, and it never freaked me out. So I had to convince myself to just look past everyone and pick 3 people, one there, and one there, that I could go back and forth to. And I wound up telling people, like, you make really good eye contact, so I hope you don't feel bad that I stare at you. And I became friends with those 3 people in that class.
Cute.
It wasn't like I had to become friends with everyone, but I just had to tell someone, like, I hope you don't mind. It's because of where you sit. Like, I'm going to stare at you while I speak.
For my first speech class in college, I had a 4.0 GPA.
Fuck you.
Okay, I had a 4.0 GPA.
I hate you so much.
And then I took this speech class, and the teacher gave me an A-. And I was absolutely livid. I was so pissed. I was so mad. I had a 3.98. And I was like, why? Why would you do this to me?
I lost my 4.0 my first semester in college.
What?
There was no way I was going to get all A's. It was never going to happen, because C's get degrees, Robin, and that's the truth. God damn it. That is just how I had to go into it, because I was like, if I try and get all A's, I'm going to lose my mind. And I probably would have. And then at the end of my career, my college career, I stopped drinking so much, I stopped partying so much, and I was like, I told myself this, and this totally worked for me. Go to class every day. Like, if you go to class every day, you'll pass. And I realized, like, my problem throughout of all school, I've always known it. It has never been me not paying attention. It's never been me not retaining stuff, me not being smart. It has always been the same thing. Attendance. I don't like fucking going. I would go the least amount I possibly could. And my last semester and a half, I was like, just go every day. And I got all A's my last 3 semesters. And I was like, if I just would have fucking shown up, I probably would have had a 4.0. But hey,
wow.
It's true. That's just how it was for me in college.
All right.
So, interesting,
cool.
Not interesting. I don't know. I shared it with you anyways, so my bad.
Zwalzel says, I love you guys already, but I'm super excited for the movie pod.
I am
very
fucking excited.
We just started the Twitter for the movie pod.
I had to get all the social medias because I knew if I announced it, maybe one asshole out there would try and steal that shit from us, and I was like, no.
So if you go to Twitter, it's YN as in Nancy, ST as in Tom, pod at YNST pod, right?
YNST pod.
Yeah.
Yeah. Instagram is at the movie pod. The
the
website is going to be themoviepod.com. And Twitter and Facebook, the Movie Pod is already taken by the same podcast, which hasn't done anything since 2014, 2015. So I've reached out to them to ask them, hey, is it cool if you guys release this? Because I'd really like to have it. And I'm just really excited because there's so many movies that she hasn't seen that I really want to force her to see. And I can force her to see stuff that she's kind of heard of. Stuff she hasn't heard of, she never wants to watch. So now I get to force her. And this is what's really funny is yesterday when we were announcing the show, I was saying, I had an idea of what I wanted to say. I didn't have a script written for it, but I said, like, whenever I bring up movies that I haven't seen or shows I haven't seen, that's when you say, like, you've never seen that? Or like Charlie would say, like, you've never seen that? And everyone's always shocked, and that's where I got the idea for the name. But as I was saying it, I listened back to it when I was editing. I was like, if we run out of fucking movies to watch, we can just watch series of shows.
Yeah, because it's called You've Never Seen That.
Yeah, and just do like maybe 5 episodes as a season, or if it's like a short show, like, and you know it's going to be number 1 on that list once we run out of movies?
Well, I think
Breaking fucking Bad. I cannot wait. It is so good, and she refuses to watch it. I am so excited. So excited for You've Never Seen That. It's just like I'm overjoyed. This one is Robin's the host, and I'm the co-host on this one. I'm going to host the other one. She's going to co-host it. But whoever is the person that picked the movie is going to lead the episode. So that's how it's going to go.
Okay.
So I'm super stoked for it. So I hope you guys listen. I hope you guys go and review it. I hope we get like a big turnout to start it, and we're going to like do a push the beginning of February. It'll be, I don't know what I'm going to call it. February Faptacular push, maybe.
Maybe. I don't know.
We'll figure something out.
Mothboy Real Estate says y'all gotta watch Houseu if you haven't. I haven't watched it, so that'll be cool. I think we're gonna do like on Patreon, have people choose movies for us to watch. I think that'd be really great.
Yeah, there's a lot of different ideas that we have floating around our domes
so
right
we'll
now.
Once we get the podcast going a whole bunch and record a few episodes, then we'll start doing all that stuff. Swazzle says make him watch Asian dramas. On my list, literally, I have My Sassy Girl, and he was like, what is My Sassy Girl? And I was like, it's a Korean movie, and you have to see it.
Please stop hitting the table.
It is so good. So I'm going to make him watch all the Asian movies, probably a few anime movies, and it'll be fun. Yeah. It'll be really cool.
So I'm going to read the rest of YouTube chat, and then I'm going to jump into my first email of the show. People are giving shout-outs, letting whoever it was that said, hey, what classes do you have next semester? That was Erica, I think. Yeah, it was Erica. Yeah, you're going to do great. You're going to kill it next semester. Believe in yourself and you'll be okay. People are talking about how great your tattoos look, which is cool. Alexander says
it's a robot love story.
It's a really cool tattoo.
With I have the Death Star in there. There's like just a bunch of rocket ships and planets. I love robots. So it's super nerdy.
Yeah, it is indeed.
Also Elvish on this side because I'm super nerdy.
She has like basically Elvish, like family, friends, meth. I can't remember what it says over there. I don't know what you were into before.
Love, family, and friends.
That's it. I was close. And then, I mixed up love and meth, which I think most of us do.
And then I have wings on my back that are themed after like the Castlevania gargoyles. So she
has 3 stars in the back of her neck as well.
Yeah, I have a lot of tattoos. I even have like Japanese on me somewhere. Too many tattoos.
She does.
Don't get them all when you're 20. I'm just gonna tell you that.
Why?
Because now that I'm almost 30, I turned 30 this year. I'm like, why did 20-year-old me get all these tattoos?
I have one tattoo, and I wish I could remove it with a cheese grater. My tattoo is old enough to drive. I got it when I was 16. I'm 33. It's been driving for a year. My tattoo's 17 years old. And I wish I'd never got it so I could have something else there instead.
All right.
Cool. This has been fun. I love talking to you guys. It makes the shows last so much longer, but you guys are so interactive, and we appreciate all of you. But let's go ahead and get into the next homegrown horror for this episode. So my first homegrown horror's subject is homegrown horror. And it starts out like this. You can read this on the podcast in all caps. So good to know. Thank you for leading with that. Hello, spooky friends. Hello.
Hello.
My name is Molly, and I'm a listener from the Dreadful Spotify. Shout out to Dreadful Spotify. I have a story that was kind of creepy to me and a friend, Sam. It all started when we decided we wanted to play a paranormal game. Being dumb kids, we decided to play the game Cat Scratches. I have never heard of Cat Scratches.
Yeah, what is that?
Here it goes. It basically consisted of a friend puts their head on your lap. Yeah, I like where this is going. Puts their head on your lap, and you say some stupid story 3 times. Then, as they are getting up, you pull at their shirt. We did it, and nothing happened to Sam. But when I tried it, I got up and felt a stinging sensation on my back. There were 6 3-line scratches on my back. We spent the rest of the night trying to forget about it. The next morning, she left, and I told my dad about it. As any parent would do, he would not believe me, but stuff around my house started to get strange. I would hear footsteps coming up the stairs, strange cold spots, and my stuff started disappearing. The last, probably the scariest, my dad's room had a tiny door on the wall that led to a tiny insulated room that we could not go in. Why in the fuck do people build these things in their houses?
Murder rooms.
I helped a friend move into his apartment in Chicago, and as they were moving in, like, his roommate, they had agreed, like, my friend's going to pay a little bit more in rent, and his roommate was going to take the smaller room. It's a pretty normal standard agreement I think people make. And as he was moving in, his roommate had already gotten there and had taken the larger room and, like, refused to speak to him about it and, like, then, like, left. So when we were moving stuff in, they wouldn't be there. And I was like, wow, this is going to work out really well. This is the first thing that's happened. They passively aggressively stole the big room and still clearly think they're going to pay less in rent. But we went in there to be like, what the fuck? And that room had a tiny little door that led into a tiny little room.
And were you like, I'm good?
I was like, dude, you want the small room? They're going to get murdered by a fucking demon in their sleep. So one of these tiny rooms exists in the dad's room. One day, I woke up early, so I decided to go in my dad's room just to sit and watch YouTube. I was laying there and proceeded to hear light, tiny scratches from that room. I played it off. Yeah, that's right. I'm not crazy. I'm reading it correctly. I'm on the same line. Okay. I played it off because I have a dog and thought he was doing it, so I continued to watch my show. Then I heard my name being called.
No,
I woke up my
no,
dad
no.
and it stopped. It never happened again after, but I just wanted to share that story. Keep on being you, and I love watching you and hope you read. I hope you read this on the podcast. Bye.
Wow.
That's really fucking good. It's super fucking creepy too.
Big ol' nope.
I would be like, Dad,
Big ol' nope.
I hope you don't mind, but I'm going to throw a Molotov cocktail into that small room, so no big deal, right? Cool. I would not be okay with that shit. Like, I get the cat scratch game. I've never heard of it before. And then,
I've never heard of it.
Here's the thing. As a parent, which I'm not, it has to be difficult when
You're a fur baby parent.
I'm a fur baby parent. They can't speak to me, though. My point here is,
woof, woof.
if your kid...
Speaking.
Okay, if you're a parent and you've been with your kid, stop. Just stop trying to derail me. If you're a parent, you've raised your kid, right? Most likely, unless there's a different scenario where you just got your kid, they're brand new to you. Like, you've seen your kid grow from the point where you wipe its ass, and then it can speak, and then it learns to lie. And when kids learn to lie, they lie about stupid shit. And you try and teach them, like, don't lie about that. Like, it's not cool to lie. No one likes a person who lies all the time.
That's what I did when I was younger.
It's something that happens. And then they get to the point where they start telling the truth, and you start having to learn their little tics about what they do when they're lying. And usually they're going to lie because they're scared or they're embarrassed. And then they get to a point where they're kind of becoming a young adult. And maybe they're the attention seekers, or maybe they're introverts and they don't actually do shit. They don't do shit like that. But the point is, after you've experienced this human being trying to lie their way through everything, when they come and tell you something like, I have these scratches on my back, we played this game, it was really creepy. As a parent, your head probably immediately goes to, you're full of shit. Because you've heard your kid lie about fucking everything, you know? But when all of a sudden this shit starts happening, everything fucking changes. Like, when is it the one time where you're going to actually buy into what your kid told you and be like, okay, like, maybe there actually is something creepy happening in the house? If I heard my name being called from a small, tiny room, I'm pretty sure I'd burn the fucking house down.
I believe it.
Yeah, and then you try and have to explain to your parents, and they'd be like, you're full of shit. You lie all the time.
You lie like rug.
It's a good one. It's my favorite one, actually. So, right on. Let's check the stream chat and see what you folks had to say about this story, because I actually really enjoyed it. It was short, but it was good.
Chessie Cat says, I want to get my first tattoo soon. I want Harry Potter symbols. I think the Deathly Hallows is a solid tattoo, but I feel like everyone has it. Everyone has the Deathly Hallows, and it's so frustrating.
I have a very specific idea for what I would want as my tattoo, and it's elaborate, and I don't know if anyone would do it for me.
The Triforce is not very elaborate.
It's not the Triforce, and I hate you. I really wish I could smack you live on air, but I know you murder me. No, I would like...
Also, evidence of abuse.
Yeah, it's true, which we already have of you doing to me.
You want another one?
See? This is how my life is. I run into doors all the time. No, I would love to get basically like a piece on my back that would actually extend into like kind of half sleeves on my arms. That would kind of be the art from Skyward Sword, maybe now that it's out, Breath of the Wild, where it's kind of like the square art that has like the veins running through it of like the really colorful light.
Feels really good.
Yeah, and then one of it would be blue, and then one of it would either be purple or orange, depending. And hidden throughout it would be a Triforce, obviously. So somewhere would be a Triforce. I think it'd be super cool. I'm also a huge fucking nerd.
It's like my tattoo where hidden in it is the Death Star, and you don't really know it's there unless you're really looking.
Yeah. Or a tattoo right above my cooter that says Boner Garage that's pointing down.
No, you
got
to put it on the backside.
Oh, yeah. My bad. Sorry about that. No, backside has entrance only and an arrow to my beehole.
Girl Panic says, I have 11 tattoos so far, and I really want more. I want more as well, but they're expensive.
They're expensive.
And when I was younger, I was thinking, okay, well, I want to look professional as I get older and be able to get more professional jobs and not have people look at me like, why we're not going to hire this.
I think it's changing as people our age start to hire people. They're like, tattoos aren't a reflection of like poor character anymore, which is cool, but sometimes you are going to get an old school person hiring,
right?
And they are going to look down on you for having exposed tattoos. And like Japan, like if you have exposed tattoos, like they are not happy about that.
The only day that I wore a short sleeve shirt in Japan was the day that people were like, you can't stand here. And I had never experienced that. They treated her like shit. Trip.
She got treated worse on that trip in that one moment than I was treated by anyone.
The whole entire
everyone
trip.
Like we were walking to a temple, and it was this really long walkway with all these shops and places you can eat. And she bought street food, and we stood there and we started eating, and there was people all around us, and they singled her out in particular to walk over and be like, "You can't stand here. Like you have to move." I was so upset. It was so ridiculous.
It's understanding that it's a cultural thing. It's fine.
We were there for 13 days. That's the only bad thing that happened to us. So just want to say that.
I got my tattoo cut short the way it is. Not that you can get a tattoo cut. I got it designed short the way it is because that way I can wear like polo shirts and stuff and it gets covered up. So if you are going to get a tattoo, it's a good idea.
Something to be aware of.
Yeah. And then I have a lot of neck cover-up type things, like
Stuff
a lot
you
of
can
scarves
cover
and
with
stuff,
hair.
because I have a tattoo on the back of my neck. Like, I was talking to my coworker today about it. Like, I don't like 20-year-old me.
That's funny.
Yeah, so, which is super funny, but...
Looking over in YouTube chat, Estrella says, random, but does the scariest light up? Also, I go back for my second semester next week. Any tips I haven't heard already? Just show up. That's my biggest tip. And yes, the scariest sign lights up.
I don't know where the trigger
Stop,
is.
don't touch it.
Oh, sorry. Trigger!
It fucks with the white balance, which is why we never have it on.
Yeah. Lots of talk about tattoos. Seems like a lot of people are into getting a tattoo. It's very hard to choose what you want, so think about it before you get it. They're permanent.
Alexander says, I have one tattoo that I got when I was 21, and I love it. IT Calcifer from Howl's Moving Castle on my left wrist. That's cool. I've never seen Howl's Moving Castle. There's a lot of stuff I haven't seen.
Calcifer, I think, is the little flame. The little... Okay, he doesn't know.
I just said I haven't seen it, and she's like looking at me like, right?
He's going to have to watch all of the Studio Ghibli movies.
I'm not upset about that,
like
though.
How
I'm
Miyazaki
super thrilled
movies.
because I just haven't gotten around to watching them. I didn't watch Good Will Hunting till I was like 26, just because I was like,
Me
I'll
too.
get to it eventually. I know, and it's an excellent movie. I knew it was going to be, but I haven't watched Sopranos. I haven't watched a single minute of Sopranos.
Never seen it either.
Just saving it for one of these days.
La 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 la.
Kaylee says, hello, love bugs. What up, Kaylee?
Let's see. Zwazzle says, we had a storage crawl space in our room, in a large apartment room shared between brother, sister, and I, and there was a tiny door beside my bed and then another one by my sister's bed. I found it terrifying and shoved my bed in front of it. I would
smart.
too. What we had in our room when we were growing up that I shared with my two sisters is you'd walk straight into the room, and then it was just the room, right, and the door, and then you had the closet on this side, and above the closet was like a tunnel, and it was a tunnel that went from our room to my parents' room.
Wow.
So what we would do is like somehow climb up and hang out in that tunnel.
That's so fucking
Yeah.
weird, dude.
It was cool. I don't know.
Erica over on YouTube says, I also want a Harry Potter tattoo, but everyone gets very similar ones, and I'm trying to get something meaningful but different, like after all this time, but a different version of it. I don't know.
Get a Hufflepuff
cool.
symbol and then have written on it, Badger don't give a fuck.
Wow, it's Honey Badger, don't give a fuck.
I know, but it's a badger for Hufflepuff.
I'd say don't get that. So get the Death Eater tattoo on your forearm. That's what I fucking want. I want to go to Harry Potter World and have everyone be like, oh, you're a Ravenclaw? And then I lift up my fucking sleeve and I stab him in the heart with my wand.
What the shit?
Alexander says, my next tattoo plan is a realistic 6-centimeter portrait of my almond baby. Oh, that's super cute. I really like that. I really like the tattoos. We have something that's been handwritten by your parent or grandparent.
Yes.
And it's just like their signature is always on you. I really like that.
Yeah.
Erica says, I want my first tattoo to be on my left wrist of my grandmother. We never called her grandma. We called her AMA. Amma, mom. And she would always call me her queen, and that's what I want her as a queen. That's actually really cool. Julia says, all my tattoos are on my legs for the same reason as Robin. Much rather wear pants than long sleeves.
Yeah.
Ick.
It's solid. Like, if you think about it beforehand, you as you grow older, you're like, okay, maybe that wasn't such a bad idea because, it's not out there.
Right. Kaylee says she has 13 tattoos. That's pretty good. Erica
That's
is
pretty good.
suggesting,
Like, the more is better.
Double digits, nice. Erica is suggesting Spirited Away. I have watched Spirited Away. She made me watch it. I was very pleased when I watched it.
We went to see it in theaters.
That's very true. One of the things that we talked about is some of the movies that we've made each other watch for the first time. Because one of the first movies, I told her, like, we're going to watch this and we're going to talk about it on the new show. And we watched it, I think, about a month ago, is Don't Tell Mom the Babysitter's Dead. Because it's fucking amazing, and she refused to believe me. So we watched it, she loved it, and I'm like, now can we still do that and say it's the first time you've watched it? I think as long as we tell people, like, we've watched this one time before we rewatched it, I think everyone will be okay with it. Because it's a really good movie, and I want to do the same thing for Good Will Hunting and Shawshank Redemption.
Nice.
Plus, she doesn't pay attention sometimes when we watch movies, and it's going to be different because there's going to be no cell phones allowed. When we watch for the show specifically, and whoever is watching it's kind of gonna have to take notes a little bit so that they can do a recap of the story.
I'm gonna have to
like this
take
happens
notes.
and this happens and this happens. For movies I've seen a million times, I can go through it by heart. Like, I'll take notes for funsies.
I'm gonna take notes like, okay, this happened. I have to look up like any extra commentary or any, you know what I mean.
Trivia is gonna be really fun to go through. IMDb trivia has some great shit.
Zwazzle says, I have a kanji symbol for honesty, sincerity, integrity on my shoulder to avoid a chip on my shoulder. That's really cute.
That's smart. The reason I got the tattoo I got, and I have a Taurus on my back, and it's, super cliche. Everyone gets their their zodiac sign because they want to be like, oh, it represents me. As I wanted to remind myself of all the things I'm bad at. Like I'm bullheaded and I'm stubborn and I need to learn and I have a temper and those are all the things associated with it. It's like, but I need to be proud of the fact that I have that fault and those flaws. And that's like the real reason why I wanted to get it. And I wish I wouldn't have. I still wish I had it, but I don't wish I had something so very big. So Erica over there says Gryffindor. Elasso says shout out to Girl Panic on Twitch. LOL.
Aw, cute.
Dan Sand says my name is Moro. Mauro in all caps. Cool.
All right.
Right on, Moro.
Ulri says I want to get the Taz Bureau of Balance symbol. Don't know what that is. Do you?
Yeah, Bureau of Balance, BOB.
Okay.
It's like the company that they work for.
Okay.
Yeah.
Zwalza says my friend has stars on her neck/back, but she got them the same color as her freckles, so she could basically hide them in plain sight.
I have a friend, an ex-girlfriend actually, who was like, I want to get tattoos, but I want them to look like birthmarks so that people won't realize that they're tattoos.
Yeah, I think it's a really good idea. My stars are not cute and small like that.
They're not small.
They're not like that. They're like big, huge, honking stars.
About that big.
But it's like it gets slightly bigger. Like the smallest one's like that, and then it gets bigger and bigger. And my ex has star tattoos that look exactly like mine.
I will take a cheese grater to the back of your neck right now.
Yeah.
Dan Sam says they're new. Thank you for joining us. We're happy that you turned out. If this is your first time ever dealing with a Scary podcast, thank you for joining us. And if this is just your first live show, thank you for joining us.
Is it Dan San or is it Dan San?
I don't know. So David Kripe over there in YouTube says, I love all my tattoos. They're incredibly therapeutic too. That's the thing too. Right after you get that first tattoo, you really want to get another one.
And that's why I got them all right after the other. One morning I woke up and I was like, I think I'm gonna get a tattoo today, and I went out and just fucking did it. And it's just
you get addicted to that feeling. Like you want to feel that pain. It's like Johnny Cash. Like I hurt myself today. Same thing. Exact same. Even though that's a Trent Reznor song, because that is totally Nine Inch Nails. That was just covered by Johnny Cash.
The scriptery says, piece of advice for anyone going back to school to just breathe. Because you will get frustrated and you'll want to scream, but just take a breath. And I think that's good advice. Yeah.
That's good advice for any time you're frustrated. Just take a breath. Just take a nice deep breath and just, you don't have to freak out. Sometimes I think people let their tempers get carried away with them. Like, they freak out a little bit, so then it makes them feel slightly better in that moment. So then you start to freak out more and more, and you feel like if you rein it in, you're just going to explode.
Yeah.
There's nothing like I don't know. It's like if you have an explosion you think is building up, to put it out internally, not bury it down, but just be like, you know what, I don't need to do that. And then you feel stronger, and there's more shit that you can take on and be like, yeah, this is frustrating, but I'm still going to fucking take care of it, and I'm not going to freak out. And it just changing your perspective on that, like telling yourself, like, I'm not going to freak out. Like, I'm going to deal with this. It really does just change your entire mindset, and it can change your entire life. I'm totally 100% honest about that.
Chessie Cat said she cosplayed Sophie from Howl's Moving Castle last year. You have to send us pictures because I love cosplay. I wish I could cosplay more, but none of my costumes fit anymore. So.
I'm about to go on a pretty intense diet when we get back from our vacation, and my goal is to try and be able to be Doctor Strange for Halloween.
Oh yeah?
Yeah, because I used to be skinny. And I
Me
can get back there, and if I just brush little white through my temples, grow in that douchebag goatee, which I can grow in very well. She hates it. And then I can get myself a cape, which would be amazing, and then I can be Doctor Strange. And I can cosplay Doctor Strange at the Comic-Con.
I wish I could sew, because I would love to make more cosplay. I think that would be absolutely amazing. I still have a million wigs. It would just be super fun.
There's a guy I started following on Instagram who makes body armor, and he makes amazing body armor, and I don't remember, I think it's the Jim Logan. I'm going to check it right now because I need to give him a shout out because he does some amazing shit, and it's not crazily priced, but enough where he's going to make money off of it. And it is the Jim Logan, spelled exactly how you think it is. So if you're into cosplay and you want to check and see the stuff that he makes, it looks great, and it's featured in some films. So
wow.
Yeah, it's really, really good quality shit, and it's not crazy expensive. It's like chest piece, shoulder pads, belt for like $250. So, I mean, that's not as crazy as I've seen. I've seen like a fucking chess piece go for $600 before. And it's just like, I don't want to put that much money into a cosplay.
Yeah, that's a lot.
All right. We need to get back to the show that we do.
So I'm going to go into this next email here. And the subject is long one, but a good one.
I've said that before.
I think. Oh, shit.
Wow.
Okay. So it goes, hola, spooky friends.
Hola.
Hola. Is that how you say it, though?
Yeah,
hola.
It is. That's one of the only Spanish things I say consistently. Aside from when I go and purchase stuff to make Spanish or Puerto Rican rice.
Don't you say donde está all the time?
Donde está la biblioteca?
Yeah.
What I actually say all the time is que hora es, because I want to know what time it is. But whenever I'm going to buy stuff, Goya is the brand. and Saison is the thing that I need to pick up. So whenever I'm in the aisle, when I find it, I go, Saison, Goya. And I pick it up, and people look at me like, I hate him so much.
Okay, so a few things I want to say before I tell another story, which of course you can share. So just like everyone else, I love your podcast. I enjoy your banter and your topics. Yay!
Thank you.
The Storytime episodes are great and show a true love and respect for your audience. We could not do it without you guys.
We really couldn't. I get nervous
you.
the longer it takes for people to send us shit. Like, because sometimes we have days where we just blow up and we're like, another email, and we're getting excited. And then sometimes we have stretches where we go a few days without an email. And I'm like, we're not going to be able to do story time in a couple months. Like, we won't have any fucking stories. So if you've been sitting on one, please send it so I don't get all anxious.
Okay. I personally love podcasts and have listened to a ton of them in the past 3 years. And in those 3 years, I've never written to any of them.
Aww.
And other than liking the Taz Facebook page, I have never done anything else as a fan other than subscribe and listen. So we're very thankful that you decided to email us because we really couldn't do it without you guys.
Shout out to Taz. Taz is the shit.
Yeah, they're never gonna call you, okay?
I'm not saying like Griffin McElroy hit me up, but if you do, we could totally hang out and be best friends. I'm just saying.
I was gonna say, like, don't you want to be friends with him? Okay.
He probably fucking hate my guts, but who knows?
So I started listening to Scarish about 3 weeks ago, which is 2.5 months ago.
About 3 months ago.
Since
at this point,
then, I have liked and joined your Facebook group. Yay! Join Discord and participate in conversation. I'm Swazzles. Swazzles, it's you!
Oh shit, Swazzles is probably watching right now.
I've sent in 3 stories, and I just became a patron. Whoop whoop! So yeah, I like your show, bros. So, now for the story. This will be about one subject, but is a few small events, so it is long but not scary, I promise. My abuela, my grandmother, was the most important was the most important person in my life. She was more of a mother to me than even my mother. My mom's a good one, but she was a bit distant. So she was beautiful and kind, the abuela, I'm assuming, while still having a fiery spirit. I once heard her tell my 50-year-old uncle that he was not too old for her chancla.
That's hilarious.
Oh my gosh, because he was being kind of a sucky person at the time. And for those of you that don't know, a chancla is a sandal. And this is the Mexican equivalent of a belt, except it's always from mom or grandma. Watch Coco and you'll see.
Yeah,
that's one of the movies he has to see.
I can't wait to see it. And by the way, that is 100% fucking legit. I remember my grandmother threatening people with chanclas. Just growing up and being like, I understood that word. Like, someone's in trouble. So I always call my flip-flops chanclas, and she's always been like, what the fuck is a chancla? And I just hold it up like, this is a chancla.
My mother was very resourceful. And so she would use random objects. If you've been to an amusement park and you've gotten their souvenir cups that have the ridiculously long straws. We went to Universal once and they had a straw that was like this long, and it was like really hard but really bendable plastic or rubber or something. And so my mom decided, like, that's a great whipping device. And so
it makes that noise on its way to your ass.
Exactly. And so she would use that to like whip us on the butt. And it would like, because it conforms, it like bends, it conforms to your butt. And so it's just this big whip that just like gets every like crevice. It was horrible.
So as a flashback to the domestic violence of my youth, realistically, and I say this 100%, like if my parents would have spanked me, I would have been a horrible person. Because I was a shitty kid, and I was the kid who needed to be spanked, and I know that as an adult now. That said, I remember it being slaps at first, like slapping the hand. Then I got older, and there was a ping pong paddle, or not a ping pong paddle.
Slaps on the hand?
Yeah, like, don't do that.
Oh, must be
I remember
nice.
I fucked something up really bad one time, and it was when spankings were a thing. And my mom called me over, and she's like, hold out your hand, and she went like this. She barely hit me, and she goes, don't do it again. And I walked away, and I was like, I will never do that again. I'm so grateful I didn't get my ass kicked. And I used to do that to my friends when they make me super, super mad, and they're apologizing. I'm like, hold out your hand. I do like a little slap. I'm like, don't do that again. And like, I learned that from my mom. But we had a ping pong paddle that had the stuff peeled off of it, so it was just wood. And I remember it breaking when my brother was getting spanked, because we always did shit together. He was getting hit, ping pong paddle broke. And in my fucking 4-year-old head, sweet, no more spanking. Like, the paddle's broken, it's done, I'm not getting hit, and I was always second in line. And that was when the era of the belt began. And my dad took it off, finished my brother off, and then moved on to me and whooped my ass with that belt, and it is so much fucking worse. He used to do that all the time. I remember my mom was a freelance court reporter at the time, and it was like the 80s, like late 80s, early 90s. So she had the big shoulder pads and the super fat like plastic belt on her outfit. And she came home and we were being little assholes, and she made us go upstairs and she like put us into spanking position, which is basically just bend over the bed so you can get your ass kicked.
Yeah.
And she used her plastic belt and she hit us, and it didn't hurt at all. And like me and my brother were trying so hard not to say anything, and she started leaving the room. We started fucking laughing, and we were just cackling and howling. Oh my God.
Of course she was.
And she was so fucking angry. And like at that moment, my dad walked in. And she's like, my dad tells this story too. He's like, it was the only time I'd ever walked into the door and had my wife look at me and go, "Beat those kids." And he went upstairs, took his belt off while we were still on the bed laughing, and just fucking tore us apart, man. It was so bad. I remember putting a fucking like green eggs and ham book down my pajama pants, and my dad hit me with the belt, and it made this huge cracking sound. And I swear to God, I turned around and looked at him like, did he realize I put a fucking book in my butt? And he like looked at the belt like, did I just do that? And then he looked down and saw my ass was a square, and he fucking took it out and just beat the shit out of me. That was the stuff I dealt with. I never really had to deal with chocolate growing up, but I remember that stuff very, very well.
That's funny.
So yeah, good trip down memory lane.
Yeah, I think I needed to get whipped sometimes. Not every time that I had it happen to me, but sometimes. Anyway.
Let's get back to
the
this.
email literally says anyway.
That's perfect. You worked that in perfectly.
I think you guys know us so well because so many of your emails go anyway. And then,
anyway, assholes, get back to my story.
My abuela passed away when I was a sophomore in high school. That's really unfortunate.
That's very sad.
I was not able to be with her, but my dad was able to go down to Mexico when we heard her health was declining. And before he left, I bought one of the white candles with saints on them, except the one that I bought had a guardian angel.
Aw.
The small backstory here is that in Mexico, when I was little, I got scared a lot or worried about my parents back home in the States. So one day, one of my aunts gave me a small cardboard picture of two small children about to cross a rickety bridge, and behind them is a beautiful angel watching over them. On this picture, there was also the guardian angel prayer in Spanish, and when I showed my abuela, she smiled, and from that day forward, anytime I felt nervous or scared, she would say the prayer, and then we would say it together. At home in the States, I continued the practice and could swear I felt her saying it with each time. So yeah, sent the candle with my dad. At this point, my abuela was so far gone that she didn't really eat and didn't move. She stayed in bed, almost catatonic. And on the first night my dad was there, after talking to her for a long time with no response, my dad pulled out the candle. He showed it to her and told her that I had sent it. She smiled, reached out her hand, and pointed to the window, then told him to light it. My dad and my aunts in the room all stood, shocked. She'd not moved or spoken for days. My dad lit the candle and sat beside her the rest of the night. I have like chills. Because that shit happens.
Yeah.
Sometimes there's just one thing that happens that brings them out of that state. It's crazy. He stayed for only a few days, but every night the candle was kept lit for my abuela, or my abuela would get visibly upset. My dad had to come home before she passed. It was only 2 days after he came home. He did end up going back for her burial. And while he was there, my uncle, who'd been with my abuela when she died, pulled my dad aside and told him that in her final moments, she'd whispered the guardian angel's prayer.
Aww.
Oh my gosh.
You look like you're going to cry.
No, I'm not going to cry, but like that's like
super
amazing.
Sweet.
Yeah. And as she closed her eyes for the last time, the candle I'd sent went out and there was no more wick or wax to keep the flame alive.
Wow.
That's insane.
I don't want you to think that I'm not saying anything because I'm not impacted by this story. I'm not saying anything because I am significantly impacted by this story. So please continue.
It was 5 years after her death before I was able to go back to Mexico, and in those 5 years, I struggled. I was finally diagnosed with severe depression and had gone through a lot. I had a couple hospitalizations, and I'm sad to admit that I did attempt to take my life once. Dude.
I'm glad you're still around.
We're glad that you're still with us because it's definitely something really hard to get through. And the fact that you did is amazing.
That you got through it, yeah. Everyone gets low. And I just like the fact that we have this community that people realize, like, there are people out there that have gone through what you've gone through. And everyone's very happy when you come out on the other end, and everyone kind of wants to be there for you to help you in whatever way we can. Yeah. Even if that means you have to come and you don't even have to say anything, but we've had people say, like, I need to take some time off. Like, I'm not going to be part of the Patreon, or I'm not going to be part of the Discord or stuff like that. Because I know there's kind of some social pressure where you think you have to like keep up with stuff. That's never the case with our community. And it's just like, you never have to tell us if you need to take some time off, but if you feel like it, you're never going to be judged. Everyone's just going to say the same thing, like, we'll be here when you get back. Exactly. So I don't know. Very glad you're still around.
Side note, I am doing great now. This was 15 years ago, and I have never reached that low again. I still struggle with my depression, but I got this shit.
Nice.
Cool glasses emoji.
Cool glasses emoji? I like that. Shows the confidence.
When I went back to Mexico, my anxiety went crazy. And like I said, I was having a rough time, but this was also the first time I would be there without her. My dad took me to her grave, and I fell apart. As we were leaving, I fell apart again and told my dad I just wanted to know that she was okay. At that moment, a white butterfly fluttered between us. But of course, that had to be a coincidence, except literally every time in the 2 months I was there that I felt sad or that I missed her, I would see another white butterfly.
No coincidence.
Including one time when I was walking in the cornfields trying to work through some bad thoughts. I got down on my knees and started saying the guardian angel's prayer, and when I finished, I opened my eyes, and on the ground in front of me was sitting a white butterfly. That's freaking amazing.
Yeah, it's really, really sweet.
I laughed, and finally said out loud, "I'm so stubborn, but so are you."
That's hilarious.
Okay, abuelita, I got it. And then it fluttered away. And to this day, I will randomly see white butterflies when I'm feeling especially down. That's my story about my abuela and the connection we will always share. I still have one story to share with you, my spooky familia, but it's a big one. Both a lot of writing and a lot of heaviness still felt from it, so it might be a minute before I share. Thanks. Christina, a.k.a. Swazzles.
Take your time. Send it whenever you need to.
That's an amazing story. It's a really good story.
Thank you so much for sending that. We really, really, really do appreciate it. And, it's just like, I think everyone relates to stuff like that, and I think that's one of the things that's brought in a lot of people to listen to the show, isn't just hearing us talk about the stuff, because I know I've talked about some stuff with my grandparents in the past, but just hearing you folks talk about it too, and it's like, you folks are directly responsible for the success that we have had, because you share these things that are so deeply personal, and we hope you feel safe doing that, and we're very honored that you let us read these things to other people, because it's just something that I think everyone needs to hear. And it's not like you don't always need to hear scary stuff or funny stuff or happy-go-lucky stuff. You need to hear people say stuff like, I got really low, but I still came through it, and like fucking sunglasses emoji shade, like, and now I got this shit. And just these things that help us get through it are very powerful and very impactful. And that's why I get so angry at people that are just like cynically skeptical, where it's like, nope, bullshit, bro. It's like, no, it's not, though. It really isn't. And when you get people from all walks of life emailing us like they do, it really makes you realize, like, hey, this stuff I've always been, like, skeptical but really still believed in. Like, I don't feel so stupid anymore. I feel 100% validated just from doing this. So it's a really great thing, and we appreciate you sending that.
Yeah. So
let's look over in Stream Chat and see what you folks had to say.
Albrain says, nice, let's lose weight together.
Yay. Zwazzle says, I feel weird tearing up at my own story, LOL. That's hilarious, and you shouldn't, and it had to be so hard to write that, so don't feel weird about that at all. I'm glad we stopped for a break to talk about how we were beating his children, because it was just like some nice levity that I think we all needed.
That's funny. Jangmi said, the dad slapper is here. JK, I thought my dad was trolling me, but he actually felt someone hit him on the back, and it wasn't me, it was Brandon.
That's hilarious.
What? Let's see. Chessie Cashy says she's trying to lose some too. We're all trying to lose weight. Let's do it together. It's a new year.
It's a common New Year's thing. I started out, and this is 100% true, and I don't care about sharing numbers like this. I started out at 303 before we went to Japan.
What's 303?
303 pounds.
That's how you do 303, right?
Yes, it is. And I'd never been over 300, and I weighed in on that around my birthday last year, which was May 11th. And I was like, I need to lose some weight. I don't want anyone to worry about my health or dying. And I was like kind of worried about myself. So I was like, all right, well, let's eat okay in Japan. You know, we're going to walk everywhere. We got back. I went back to the doctor. I was 291. So I had lost like 13 pounds from just going to Japan because we walked fucking everywhere. The portions are all smaller. Yeah. The food was all delicious. It was super cool. And I was like, let's just keep this rolling. And when I got laid off, my mom was like, hey, don't take this the wrong way, you fat piece of crap, but I'm going to get you a gym membership. And she didn't call me a fat piece of crap. She knew I wanted one, and like that was going to put a monkey wrench in my plans. So she picked up gym membership, and I just started going. I've lost about 50 pounds so far. Holidays have definitely fucked it up. I haven't weighed myself since the end of the holidays. I probably went back up another 10, but like I am committed to getting back down to a healthy weight. And I'm going to keep going. And I know that like now that holidays are over and I took like a month to just like go every now and then and fuck around with my eating habits. Like I'm going to get really strict for like 6 to 8 weeks, take a little break on myself while I continue to work out and then see, how things go.
Yeah.
So it's just it's a good thing to do with a support system. So I'm glad that you guys are going through it too.
Let's see. Zwalza says it's actually really funny that this email is being read after the tattoo talk, because she has a tattoo of on your wrist. I think I remember.
It was her saying that she wants to get the tattoo on her wrist.
Yeah. Okay.
Eric over there in YouTube says, "Hey, you guys fucking rock. Keep up the great work."
Thank you so
much.
much.
Thank you so much. We appreciate that.
Girl Panic says I'm getting war flashbacks from getting the chancla when I was younger.
That's hilarious. Dan Sand says, "Is the body armor good? It is great quality body armor. I think one of my friends ordered a set, in fact." And also said, "I am Mexican, smiley face." Awesome. You probably have some great stories, man. Every person I meet, every family member I have that's from, my family's from Puerto Rico, but it's still like the Latin heritage type thing. Like everyone that like has stories from there are always such good fucking stories. They really are. So.
Linda says, it probably wasn't the belt that was ineffective. It was probably my weak wrists. I should have tried to swing with my chancla.
That's hilarious.
Zwazzles. I feel weird cheering up on my own story. It's a good story, dude.
It's a really good story. I'll say this because I think I'm emotionally steady enough to say this now. Like my grandmother on my dad's side, she had Alzheimer's, and it's like I grew up with like kind of knowing what my grandmother was really like, and then like she had Alzheimer's and she became very mean, and it was kind of just a joke about the mean things grandma would say because like she's not herself, and Alzheimer's is a horrible thing. It really, really sucks, and you just learn to deal with it. You just go through it. And my grandmother on my mom's side, my mom's mom, she was okay. Like she was just a normal grandmother. It's weird how people change when they have kids or grandkids come into their lives. I had no idea my grandmother smoked until I was like in my 20s, and she like, I think I smoked for 30 years, and then I started having grandkids, and I decided to stop. I'd never seen my grandmother even like think about smoking a cigarette. To know that like she had done that, I was just like fucking just flabbergasted. But she saw me going through what I had to go through with my dad's grandmother, or my dad's mom, and she was like, just know if that ever happens to me, that if I say things that are mean or if I act mean, it's not me, and I love you. And of course, she got Alzheimer's too. So I think about that, and it helps me get through it.
Yeah, that's really cool.
Don't. You don't have to make a scene out of it. I'm holding it together. Just
okay.
I'll let you take over the chat for a little bit, and I'll gather my shit together, and I'm okay.
Chessie Cat says, I'm from the 303. That's our area code in Colorado. That's where the band's from, 303. I'm pretty sure they're from Colorado.
It's gotta be.
Let's see. Yeah, holidays always derail weight loss because food is so good. Food is always so good. I can't even.
And I deep fry turkey for every fucking holiday, so that definitely doesn't help out. But it's so good, I can't not do it.
Ulrich says, in life, my grandfather had a running joke of giving people a dime and a paperclip after saying he'd give them a diamond pin. After he passed, we would find dimes in the most random places when we were feeling low or experienced a triumph, and we'd always say, hey, Grandpa, the craziest was a dime appearing underneath my sister's flip-flop after successfully changing a tire by herself.
That's awesome.
Even though we both know no dimes were on the driveway beforehand. And the kicker is that he had owned a tire shop. Family's there when you need them, even when they aren't there.
That's a great way to put it. It's totally true. It really, and that's the thing too. I think that's why people, regardless of your religion or lack of religion, like they feel stuff like that. And it's like they don't have to have a specific religious belief or religious structure to be like, something more than me just happened. Like, and we've gotten emails like that from people, and I just think like those are such good stories. They really are. It doesn't always have to be scary, even though that's like my favorite thing to do. So I'm through my YouTube stuff. Are you through your Twitch stuff?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So I'm going to move into my second email of the night, and this one's subject is coincidence. There's no I think not afterwards, but I don't know. I like that catchphrase. We should put that on a pin or a button or a t-shirt.
Okay.
And it starts out like this. Hey, guys.
Hey.
Hello. My name is Kat, and I've recently begun listening to your podcast this week. And I usually don't have any paranormal experiences, but I wanted to share something that happened to me yesterday. Now, just to lay some facts down, I have never had anything paranormal happen to me prior, but I grew up with a pretty hefty curiosity in the paranormal and fear of the dark. I think that's pretty average, especially the fear of the dark part when you're growing up. So that's not like anything to be ashamed of in any way, shape, or form. So all in all, I consider myself to be a mix of healthy skepticism and wantonness, I think that's how you say that word, to believe. Let me outline my slightly weird day. I awoke at 6:15 a.m. and finally got myself out the door around 7 a.m. before the sun was up. This past weekend, my boyfriend and I put up Halloween decorations in the front yard. And of course, it's the new year, and we apologize for the delay. One of them being a scarecrow, just like the one you see in Tim Burton's Sleepy Hollow. I usually bring a bunch of things out to my car because I like to be prepared for my workday. So as I was making my first trip out to my car, I remember seeing the decorations we had put out to the side. After packing things in the back seat, I closed the door and turned around to see the scarecrow staring straight at me.
That's creepy.
It mainly spooked me because normally it would be facing the street. I didn't hear any noise and there was no wind, so needless to say, I got a little spooked.
It was the crow.
It was the crow. It reminds me of Jeepers Creepers. How it's just a dude like standing on a pole the whole time.
Never seen it.
You've never seen Jeepers Creepers? I've only seen it one time, and I was so happy because there's a character in there I don't like who dies.
All I know is in one of the Jeepers Creepers, I think David Tennant's in one of them.
Really?
I'm pretty sure.
I didn't recognize him, but like I said, I've only seen it once. And it was like right when it came out. So maybe we need to add that to the list. I mean, we're gonna have
because there's a million of them, right?
And we're gonna hit Halloween, and we're gonna have to we're gonna have to find scary movies that you haven't seen or I haven't seen, and it's gonna be really, really difficult.
It's gonna be hard. We still haven't seen Hereditary.
That's true. It's right over there. All right, I'm gonna keep going. I stood there for a moment just to get my bearings and observe my surroundings. It was still pretty dark out, and then I started to hear noise coming from the other side of my house. Just for reference, if you were to look at my house from the street, you would see the garage attached on the right side, whereas the Halloween decorations were on the left side of the front yard.
Okay.
I can totally picture this. The sounds I heard were coming from the right side of my house. They didn't sound natural either, like something clambering around back there. It's even creepier because that side is where my bedroom window sits over.
What?
As a side note, this is all more scarier because I am absolutely terrified of anything to do with the dark. I tend to sleep with a nightlight and always keep my curtains shut at night because I hate the idea of someone being able to see me.
Yeah,
or worse, me seeing someone.
Yeah.
I didn't think much of the sound because we do have stray cats in the suburbs, but then I remembered that sometimes late at night I'll notice a light turning on outside my bedroom windows. Fuck
Is it a neighbor's floodlight, though?
Yeah, that's like, if it's a motion light, that's one thing, but if it's just a random light that should not have any source outside your window, I'd be super fucking creeped out. Later on, I found out that this is my neighbor's motion detection light. Okay, cool. We were right there. We knew what we were talking about. I figured, okay, probably cats again, but I know from experience now that it's pretty hard to get that thing to turn on unless you raise your hands above your head and wave. That's totally fucking true.
Whenever that happens, I'm just like, why do I have this?
Yeah.
Why?
I mean, I used to TP people's houses in high school, and I remember they'd have motion lights, and they would never turn on, and I'd be like, wow, good thing you invested in that shit. So, okay, let me get back to this. I guarantee you right now, you guys might be like, whoa, there is no one that is shocked to hear me say that knows me that I used to TP houses. They were all very well aware. When we walked for graduation, when I graduated from high school, the parents all threw fucking TP at us.
Wow.
Because it was just like our whole class would do nothing but TP each other's houses. It was actually really fun. Okay, getting back to the email. So she said that you have to have your hands above your head and wave to get these things to turn on. So more of a creep factor there. I went to work like normal, aside from the weird incident that morning. I even ended up listening to a few of your podcasts, Black-Eyed Kids, Russian Experiment, etc. Black-Eyed Kids is probably a really creepy one to listen to. It's funny because I was thinking about earlier, like, episodes that I didn't want to do, and there's only been one, and it was Black-Eyed Kids. And I wouldn't have done Black-Eyed Kids
but it was some people's favorite one.
Yeah, it was the poll that we had up on Patreon that they picked it, and so many people tell us it was one of their favorite ones. It was the creepiest one they had heard. So it's funny that is the day that you wound up listening to that one. When I got home later, I decided to take a bath and listen to another one, Good Feelings episode. Last week was the 1-year anniversary of my grandfather's death. Wow, these things are all like kind of related.
Well, it is Halloween.
I guess.
Maybe.
That doesn't make any sense. My grandmother died 2 years ago after battling Alzheimer's. Then my grandfather, I know, right? Then my grandfather moved in with my parents and I for a year before he passed. Unfortunately, I wasn't as close to him as my grandmother. I remember we lost a great aunt, I think, when I was younger. I think I was like 19, 20. My brother was a little older, and he talked to me about it afterwards, and he told me, like, I feel really bad because, like, I don't feel really bad. And I told him, like, you didn't really know her. Like, we both really didn't. Like, she was at family gatherings and stuff, but, like, we never sat down and had a conversation. Like, and if you're feeling guilty that you never had that conversation with her, that's one thing. But it's like, some relatives, like, are on your family tree and you just kind of never overlap with them, you know?
Yeah.
And it's like, I understand, like, feeling sad that someone's not there and seeing someone that you are close with being really upset. But like, you don't have to feel that guilt because that's just how life goes. Like, sometimes you just don't line up with some of your family members, especially ones that like you just really don't see that often.
Yeah.
So like, when you say like I wasn't as close to my grandfather as I was my grandmother, that's totally normal for you to be closer to one than the other.
I'm not close to my grandparents whatsoever. So not even a little bit.
It's just something that happens. It really is.
Yeah.
I have multiple friends who are like, yeah, we don't talk to my dad's or my mom's side of the family. Like the whole side of the family, they just don't talk to any of them. So it's just like, it's more common than I think most people would think. Getting back to the email. Hers was the first death that I had ever experienced, and having him living with us was a constant reminder of her being gone. Needless to say, I was pretty unhappy with the whole situation and didn't know how to handle it. Looking back, I wish I had been nicer and more open, but I was struggling to finish college, and my parents and I weren't getting along, i.e. they would forget to include me for family dinners, etc. Wow.
Aww.
After my grandfather passed, I remember taking the time to go through some of their old things in his former room. I wasn't working at the time and had a lot of free time to myself as well. Randomly, I picked out a card addressed to me for my confirmation 9 or something years ago. When I opened it, I found money for me.
Shut up.
Now, since I wasn't working and had to commute to college and such, my funds were getting pretty low, and this seemed to be a reminder that my grandparents were still looking out for me. My grandfather was very generous with what little money he had left at the end of his life, and this was a reminder of it. Getting back to my fun bubble bath time, okay? Listening to your stories definitely filled my heart. After I got out of the bath, I went to visit my parents. Lo and behold, the first thing my dad shows me is a poem his dad, my grandfather, would read to him called Little Orphan Annie. If you haven't read this, please do so, as it is cute but frightening story for young children.
Okay.
It pretty much warns young children about being kidnapped by goblins if you do something bad. All of this again happened in one day, so I got a bit freaked out again when I read it because it just seemed to line up so perfectly. I don't really know what to make of it. It could be that my grandfather was reaching out today and letting me know he was there, but then adding the creepy scarecrow incident and this ominous poem, it also seemed like it could have been a warning. It's very true. Who knows? It's just like sometimes that stuff just all happens at once, and they might not be like that's again like coincidence. Like you can believe in paranormal stuff and have two entirely unrelated paranormal events happen to you in the same day, and like it's almost like an episode of House where it's like the stub toe had nothing to do with it. Like one of the symptoms isn't actually a symptom; it's something entirely separate.
Okay.
But I'll get back to it. It's wrapping up. Anywho, that's my sad excuse for a story. It was very good. So sorry for all the rambling and side notes. A quick question for you guys. Do you think paranormal experiences happen to everyone or only to people who seem to attract those things? Thanks again for such a great podcast. I always get excited to listen to it during the day. Happy Halloween, Kat. Thank you, Kat.
Thank you so much,
appreciate you
Kat.
sending that. What do you think? Do you think that it only happens to certain people or it happens to everyone?
I think it happens to those that are more sensitive to it. I know stuff just doesn't happen to me, and it's not that I've never like looked, like sometimes I get freaked out, like is that what that is? But you don't know, and so I just think it depends.
I fully believe that the stuff that happens is just constantly happening, like in the back. It's like an overlap. You know what I mean? And I really believe
it's
that
like House on the Hill, Haunted House.
Haunting of Hill House?
Yeah.
No.
Where it's like the ghosts are there, you're just walking past them.
I really believe in the idea because they if you study this stuff and you talk to people who have studied and devoted their life to the study of science, shout out to Swazels who just donated $20.
Swazels.
We appreciate that. It's just like there are other dimensions that we cannot interpret as three-dimensional beings. And I think about that all the time. I've mentioned it before. I mentioned the book Flat World. I think it's Flat World. I've forgotten at this point.
Flat Earth.
Where it's just like, it's a book about two-dimensional creatures trying to interpret a third-dimensional creature.
Okay, yeah.
And they can only see it as a disc, essentially. And it's very interesting to think like, well, if there was a fourth-dimensional creature, what would the fourth dimension be? How would we even think of it? And more importantly, how would we interact with it? And it's just, I just honestly think like there's stuff that overlaps with our world. And some people notice it and some people don't. And you can call it sensitivity or you can call it like being like sensitive to spirits or whatever you want to say. And honestly, I think what it boils down to in a lot of cases is skepticism and cynicism is like the emotional version of always looking at your fucking phone.
Okay.
It's like you are ignoring the things that are happening around you because you are shut off to them, like emotionally and mentally. And I guess like a little bit, but it's like when you are so tunnel visioned because you've decided that like all you see in your vision is all that exists, you're never going to pick up on the other things. And if you actually might happen to stumble onto something, you'll rationalize it away. And if you can't, you'll act like it never happened in the first place. And I think a lot of fucking people do that. And that is why I really despise cynicism, because it's like, it's the death of open-mindedness. And it's like, it is the absolute death of creativity or advancement to understanding, because you think you fucking know everything already. And I really do feel like things just happen, and it could happen to literally anyone at any point in time. And some people are either too busy, or they just don't notice, or they might not be sensitive, or they don't care. And I think that's why it only happens to certain people, because some people pay attention. It reminds me of that X-Files. I don't know if you've ever seen this episode. Mulder finds a genie. And of course, it was probably around the time Aladdin came out, because he realizes that she's real and that
sure
she's
it's not that Sinbad movie?
I'm pretty sure it's that Sinbad movie that doesn't exist. But she's been influential throughout history, and he finds evidence of it, and then he makes his first wish, and it comes true. And then she monkey paws him, where like his first wish doesn't go exactly how she wants it to, or he wants it to. So he does a second wish, and she screws him over again. He tries to be very careful. So the third wish, he's writing out like 17-page like legal documents so that she can't loophole him. And she's like, you really take the fun out of this. And she asks her, like, what would you do if you had a day to yourself? And she tells him, like, I just sit in a coffee shop and watch the world go by, because so many of you people ignore the world that you get to live in, and you have no idea what a treasure it is.
Wow.
So he realizes, like, that instant, like, his third wish is to set her free. And the end of the episode is her in a coffee shop just watching the world go by. And I was a little kid when that came out, but I thought, like, I never want to be the grown-up who ignores the world. Like, there's so many people who do that. Like, I know my tiny little world, and that's good enough for me, and I'll shit on anything else or anyone else that wants to experience
That's cute.
it. And, like, that's what that question reminds me of. And I know it's a really long answer to a very short question, and I apologize for that.
All right. So, back into the stream chat. The scriptery says, I think the movie you're thinking about is Fright Night, not Jeepers Creepers, the one with David Tennant in it. I believe that is probably Fright Night. I don't know. I've never watched it. I just love David Tennant.
Fright Night has vampires. Jeepers Creepers has a single monster.
Then I think it's
the first Fright Night is great. The second Fright Night, which is a remake,
I think he's in the second one,
is really good too. I've seen it. It has Colin Farrell. Yeah, Colin Farrell is the bad guy. He's really good, creepy neighbor dude. And Antoine Yelchin, I think, was his name.
Who's that?
He was the guy who played Chekhov, who died in his 20s. I think it was a car accident.
Dude, Odd Thomas.
Yeah, it's Odd Thomas. He's
goodness.
so good in that.
He's so good.
His career was on the way up. He was Chekhov in Star Trek. They picked him as Kyle Reese for Terminator Salvation.
What?
He got the reboot of Fright Night, and then he died. It's so sad. I remember reading.
So it wasn't the reboot then. It was the first Fright Night that he's in. I don't know.
I just remember seeing that he had passed away. I was like, are you fucking kidding me, dude? Like, he's so good. I was so pissed about it.
Let's see. Jang Mi says, when my grandpa's dad died, they were having a lot of get-togethers for a few weeks afterwards, and one day this pigeon landed on my grandpa's shoulder and wouldn't leave. And since my grandpa's side of the family is Buddhist, they believe that the bird was my great-grandpa coming back to say bye to his favorite son.
That's
my
very picky.
My great-grandma said, what a trash bird. Why is it on your shoulder?
That's hilarious. My uncle used to call pigeons trash birds, and I used to always want to shoot them with BB guns because I was a kid and I was stupid. And I remember my uncle telling me, like, you don't, like, never pick on something that's stupid. Like, do you want to be the person that protects things that needs protecting, or do you want to be the person that shoots people that needs protecting? And I still remember that. We were just driving around, and I saw birds. I was like, I want to shoot it with my BB gun. And what's funny is, like, he never would have said that if he wasn't thinking about my grandfather, because, like, that's something his dad told him. And, yeah, I just think it's hilarious because I heard garbage bird in reference to the pigeon. I'm like, that's some shit that ties to my grandparents, too.
Silverbit says, family is just forced friends. Zwazzle says, that's an intense day. Meadow says, Goblin King. What's Goblin King? What is it? Let's see. Ulri says, OMG, I had a recurring nightmare of goblins infiltrating my house as a child.
That's funny. Erica over on YouTube says, it's always hard when we lose the people we love the most, but we all got this and just got to remember they loved us and the love we still have for them. And I think, like, the reason I like to talk so much and the reason I tell so many stories is, like, I mean, I've lost a lot of people, but, like, I don't miss them as much when I talk about them. And it's just, I think it really helps you work through it. Like, and at first you're not going to be able to do that without choking up, you know, but like the more you do it and the more you realize it's like you feel them still with you when you get to talk about stories and funny stuff that happened, like, from the past. So I totally agree with you, Erica. She also said, I love Jeepers Creepers. And then I found out what the director and creator of that movie did, and I could not allow myself to watch the newest one nor support him. I have never heard of anything that happened on that set.
You got to tell us what happened.
Definitely share.
I have no idea.
Kathleen says, I always experience sleep paralysis, so whenever it happens, I'm just like, what the hair? Not again. LOL. And Cleo Go Mush Anna 1, what a hell of a name, says, hi. Hello. And I think that's all my YouTube chat, actually.
Let's see. Zwazzle says, they choose not to see it, just like I talked about on the episode. And Hoder says, guess who's late? This guy.
Right on. No big
welcome.
deal.
You haven't missed too much, so you're good.
3 stories. No big deal. Tangent about being beaten as children and how we needed it.
All right, so you can go on.
I just read.
Oh,
yeah, that was. I'm pretty sure that was all me. So
Okay.
U-turn and transition, please.
So this next email that we're gonna read is titled "The Time I Had to Cleanse a House of a Spirit." Lots of haunted houses this episode.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
Hi, Adam and Robin.
Hello.
Hello. I don't know why I do that sometimes. I just
Wave.
Yeah. Well, it's like round, like salutations.
The wax on, wax off wave.
Yeah.
The circle.
I should do like.
They can't hear that.
Oh,
It's
like
an
the
audio
princess,
medium.
It's the Princess Diaries wave where she teaches her how to like wave like a princess.
People have talked about that wave being a royalty wave long before that movie, which, by the way, I've never seen, and I really hope you don't add to your
up.
list. You know I've never seen that.
How
you always
have you never seen Princess Diaries?
Always fucking do this every time I tell you I've never seen Princess Diaries.
The Chris Pine is in the second one.
I know. You've tried to put it on like 10 times. We get 10 minutes in, and I'm like, can we watch something else? This sucks.
Oh my gosh. Okay. Anyway, you freak.
Wow.
You guys can call me BD. I'm 24 and from California. And also BT Dubs, Adam's a freak. He's the weirdo. Who's never.
Oh, you're
not-
clarifying you're calling
Yeah,
me the freak
yeah.
and not BD.
Yeah.
Thank you for that 2-tapper on the back.
2-tapper. And I want to tell you about the time I saw a spirit at a house I used to live at. It wasn't haunted at first, and I didn't gain a spooky vibe when my husband and I first moved in. It was a cute house with a gardening shed and a beautiful backyard. The shed does come into play early, though. So,
Good to know.
Yeah. It happened earlier this year at around February when my husband was getting ready to leave for 7.5 months for work.
Wow. That's a long time.
That's almost a year.
Yeah.
That's almost a whole pregnancy.
Yeah. That's crazy to think of it that way.
It was a few nights before he left and I couldn't sleep. So I figured I could smoke a small joint. It's legal here. And to help me sleep without tearing up. Yeah, it is legal here now.
Yeah. It's
crazy.
been legal here for like a year and a half now.
A year and a half, really?
No, I'm lying. It's been legal here for... No, I think
thought
it's
it
a
was
year and a
since
half.
July.
Maybe. Yeah, that's right, because 2016 is when we had the election.
Yeah, and it was
July of 2017. No, yeah, it's 2019. It's a year and a half, bro.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool. Anyway, so I went outside to smoke in the shed, like I usually do with my roommates. It was about 12 a.m., and I figured chilling out to a podcast would help. So I went into the shed, which isn't that big to begin with, turned on the light, locked the door, and lit up. I was just relaxing on the couch until I look over in the corner and I see a black shadow sitting across from me on the other couch in the room.
Please tell me you offered it a joint. Like,
oh my god.
You want some?
You want to hit? Okay, so first I thought, I'm just seeing things until I looked over again and it was smiling at me.
Whoa, that's maybe not creepy, but it's definitely going to come off as creepy if you're a shadow thing.
Yeah. At that point, I turned off the light. What?
I would hope you left while you were turning off the light and you weren't just
Okay.
like, I'll turn off this light, then walk across this dark, shadow demon-filled shed.
I turned off the light, got the fuck out, and snuggled back in with my husband, hoping I could forget what I just saw.
How the fuck would you
I'd leave
forget
that
that?
light on.
What were you...
I would run. I wouldn't even leave the light on.
Okay,
turn the
I'm
light
going to
off
ask
or
the
whatever,
question I
or
think everyone's
whatever.
thinking. What were you actually smoking?
Oh, shut
You
up.
might have thought it was just some
You're so
weed,
stupid.
but who the fuck knows what was in there?
Anyway.
Angel dust. PCP.
Oh, what is that movie?
Did you realize I was quoting Frank Oz from Trading Places?
No. Oh, the movie that has what's his name in it? Get Him to the Greek.
It's called Get Him to the Greek.
And he sings that song at the end.
Pet the Furry Wall.
He's like.
Oh, she was smoking a Jeffrey.
Yeah.
Where she has something of everything. I put on that movie at like 1:30 one night because I was like, I'll put on something that I like that she'll hate and she'll make me turn it off right away. And we wound up staying up all night and we watched that whole fucking movie. It's silly and it's not a great movie, but it's funny.
It's funny.
And it's just, I don't know. We watched the whole thing and
that last song is so catchy.
we actually enjoyed it. So what we're saying is you were smoking something that had every drug known to man inside of it.
I figured I was just seeing things, but I tried to go back in the next morning. But when I went in, I just felt a thick tension, as in I'm not supposed to be in there, and I felt so bad about it. I didn't tell my friend / roommate about it until the bad roommate left. So you had a bad roommate? That's kind of
That sounds like another story altogether.
Yeah.
Not a paranormal story. I think we all have some bad roommate stories. I actually don't come to think of it.
I don't have any bad. My only roommate was Well, no, yeah, I have lived with boyfriends before, but my only real roommate that I wasn't with was our friend Charlie.
Yeah.
I mean, I could.
Whoa, okay. You said with? Like that I wasn't with. So it's like I was banging, but I just wasn't dating. We need to have a talk after the show.
Shut up. All right. Anyway, so.
By the way, Charlie's a girl.
She's a girl.
So,
okay.
If that makes this any less creepy.
I couldn't go in there for several months unless it was for small gardening things. I was a tiny bit into magic at this time, so I figured a cleansing could work. I figured I could use sage for it, and that didn't help, so then I tried a full-on ritual. I won't go too into detail since this is a pretty long email already, so I drew a circle, sprinkled salt and protection dust around me, lit a small black candle, and meditated in the circle for a while. It seemed to get rid of the spirit and lightened up the atmosphere of the house. Right now, I don't practice magic anymore, just taking a break from it after what happened. Through that, my friend/roommate became, well, friends. Aw, that's cute.
That is cute.
And I got her permission to talk about this. We actually bonded over listening to your podcast on drives.
Yay!
I found you guys on Reddit. Well, what? On Reddit?
Whoa.
Shut up.
I totally thought today how grateful I was that we didn't have a Reddit attached to us because all the Reddit communities I've ever tried to like dip a toe into have been toxic as fuck.
Well, yeah.
So I really hope that's not the case.
I'm not going to go read it because I don't want my feelings hurt. But
all right. I'm just going to steer clear of that.
I found you guys on Reddit while looking for new podcasts to listen to. I've been a fan for a while. Can't remember the first one. But I love listening to you guys. Also, happy early Halloween or whatever today.
Happy early Valentine's Day.
Happy Thanksgiving. Happy Christmas. Happy holidays. Happy New Year. And happy early Valentine's Day.
There you go.
Also, here's my Omen baby Bud. He's a Jack Russell and Chihuahua mix. Keep on creeping on.
So cute. I love Jack Russell Terriers.
Yeah.
So cute.
My friend growing up, they had a Jack Russell Terrier. He was the cutest little dog.
They're the smartest breed of dogs, too.
He was just so freaking cute. Like, as soon as you scratched, like, by his tail just a little bit, he would just, because he had one of those, like, short tails, you just saw his little stubby tail, like,
right.
It was so cute.
I'm going to go ahead and make an amendment to something I said, because I was talking about Reddits that I've dipped my toe into. If they found us through Reddit, and we know of at least now 2 people that are clearly not toxic, and I want to say, like, just because I've had bad experiences joining communities on Reddit, there's got to be great communities out there on Reddit, too. So shout out to anyone who listens. And if there is a Reddit community for this show, shout out to you guys for keeping it going. And maybe, just maybe at some point, we'll peek in there and make sure that it's not like a house on fire and everyone's staring at us. So yeah, it's just crazy to think because I literally thought of it today because I was listening to an Adventure Zone. And like their community grew so high on Reddit, and it's funny listening to old episodes because at some point they have to stop going to the Reddit because it gets so toxic for them, and like it's just people talking so bad about them. And I was like, man, I'm so glad that I didn't try and make some sort of Reddit community when we started this thing out because like who knows where it might be at. And then we read a fucking email that says that there's a Reddit. Yeah, it's just a weird day. Very weird.
Oh man, it's crazy. I had no idea. That's so cool. Zwalzels actually corrected what I said because I said it wrong last time, is that I meant people in general choose not to see. I totally see. So Zwalzels totally sees stuff, but other people choose not to.
Erica followed up with what happened on the set of Jeepers Creepers, and they said child abuse, that's all I'ma say.
Whoa.
So that fucking sucks.
That's fucked up.
What's funny is like it's if you don't know about something, like you don't know to take a stand or like not participate in it. And sometimes it's like you're like, well, there's nothing I can do that's going to make a difference. And then sometimes for something like this, like you just don't support future things that come out and don't rewatch the movie. But it's just it's kind of fucking crazy because it's like if you just don't know, which I totally didn't, then you just like don't know when you need to draw a line in the sand kind of thing.
Yeah.
So it's like I feel like I need to read more into what happened here because it's just really annoying. It's like I was so hyped to do an episode or 2 about H.P. Lovecraft and all his shit.
Yeah.
And then I just read up on H.P. Lovecraft. I was like, wow, this dude was a horrible human being. And I don't even know if I want to dignify him with an episode on the show that we do together where we talk about like the things that he created. Because just reading through some of the things he did and said and represented as a human being, I'm like, you're kind of a fucking piece of shit. Like that's not something that I'm down with.
Cthulhu is so cool though.
Cthulhu is so cool. It's like when the work eventually takes on a life of its own and they're no longer responsible for it, then it's a bit different. But it's like, I can't really do stuff about Cthulhu or the work of Lovecraft without diving into Lovecraft himself. So I don't know. It's one of those things where I'm sure when I'm running out of topics, I'll eventually go back to.
The scriptery says to add Princess Diaries to the list.
God.
So it's going to be on the list. We have to watch Princess Diaries. And let's see. Jamie says, woohoo, 420, 420.
Blaze it up, motherfuckers. Totally true story. I think I've only ever smoked pot maybe 3 to 5 times in my entire life. First time I ever did it, I was a freshman in high school. No, it's not even true. No, I was a freshman. I was a freshman in high school. I was about to be a sophomore. I smoked with my brother. And I was just like, wow, I just really want to go to sleep. And we were driving home, and I told him and his buddy, like, I just feel like it slowed my body down, but my brain's moving at the same speed. And, like, because of that, I just want to fall asleep. And they, like, giggled about it for 5 minutes, like, that's something someone that's fucked up would say.
Wow.
And I was like, get me out of this fucking car.
Jesus Christ.
I did smoke again for, like, 5 more years, and I didn't even like it the next time I did it either.
Ori says the spirit or being in that shed probably just really wanted the joint and then was like, what? Don't turn off the light.
Right? Don't leave me here.
Oh, no, wait. I don't know. Hold on. I'm trying to understand this.
It's
I
like,
don't know.
There's that joke, there's that meme where it's like, I like to smoke a joint and then pass it to the ghost in my house and be like, it's sage, bitch, get the fuck out.
Oh, yeah. But yeah, there is totally a whole movie about that. The Lights Off movie.
Lights Out?
Lights Out, yeah, that movie where it's like you see the thing and then you turn the lights off and you're dead.
And you're dead. Just like that.
Let's see. Oh, man, but no, it had the cop from Twilight in it.
Oh, yeah.
In the beginning. Have you not watched Lights Out?
I've watched Lights Out. I've barely watched Twilight. I just hear it in the background because I'm trying not to have my eyes bleed when I watch it.
Bella's dad is in the beginning of Lights Out, and just how he gets his leg or whatever, he gets murdered is horrible. I was so sad.
Okay, good to know.
Hands off the fucking button.
I will press that button all I want. Erica says, I found out when the new one came out because I was truly excited. I loved it, but I read up what happened and why it took them so long to come out with the third movie, and I was just like, fuck, man, no thank you. Why is it so hard for people to not just be decent human beings, but to just not be pieces of shit?
I don't know.
It's so annoying. Like, just do like what a good person would do. You know what I mean? Like, you shouldn't have to be like, well, like, Satan probably likes this, but I'm going to justify it through this means of bullshit. If you're doing that, you're probably a bad person.
Yeah. Meadow said, Starry stepped out. David Bowie is the Goblin King. You said something about goblins earlier.
We also mentioned Labyrinth before, and how I haven't seen it since I was a kid, and then I haven't seen Pan's Labyrinth. So I think those two are both getting on the list.
Jangmi asks, so about Bird Box, how is it? We haven't seen it.
Haven't seen it. We watched the fuck out of Bandersnatch, though. We got through every single ending. That's the thing. We got through every single ending, but there's like branches that'll take you to the same ending. Like there's different ways you can get there, and there was only one branch we didn't do, and we did a lot of stuff, and it was like you have to. I don't want to spoil anything, but you have to do the same thing after making a bunch of choices. Times, right? You have to do the same thing, and then it'll loop you back so you can change it, and you have to do the same thing 3 times, and the third time something changes. Yeah. And like we talked about how that was totally going to be the case. There was going to be a decision in the entire thing where if you repeated it enough, it would change something, and that was the one we didn't get because it was like fucking 3 a.m. So yeah, fun stuff. Dude says, I normally listen on Spotify. I didn't know Robin had tattoos. Indeed, she does.
Quite a few. It's not as many as some people have, but it's a lot for me.
Savage says, you guys are looking spiffy tonight. Thank you.
Oh, thank you.
This is actually a button up that I haven't fit in for like 2 years. And what's really funny about it is when I finally put it back on, I'm like, I fit this now. The armpits were covered with glitter, like I wore glitter deodorant at some point, and we just could not figure out how the fuck that happened. So I was like, this thing has been a glitter bomb in my closet for this entire time.
I just wore this to work, so.
There you go.
Let's see.
Erica is out for the night. Good night. Thank you so much for joining us. We appreciate you.
A lot of people are saying Labyrinth is a really good movie. Meadow says that Amanda says that them dogs are not the smartest.
Jack Russell Terriers?
Yes.
They say Jack Russell Terriers are supposed to be the smartest breeds, but Amanda deals with dogs all the time, so I imagine she has better knowledge about that. I keep adjusting this stupid thing, and I feel like our camera keeps getting recentered, or there's a ghost in the room that keeps pushing this sign, because I keep lining it up on the bottom to have a nice smooth line, and then I'll look back, and all of a sudden it's like tilted again. I'm going to have to review this shit. It's really annoying for me.
All right.
So fun.
Let's see. Zwalza says Reddit gift exchange is fun. I've seen a lot of people do Reddit gift exchange, but I don't know how it works. And then I've seen Imager exchange.
Imager gift exchange, yeah.
I just haven't ever done it, and it's kind of scary for me to have that pressure of like, man, how do I get this person a really good gift?
I have enough pressure to try and get good gifts for the people I know. I don't want to add an extra one in. I was given a Christmas gift today by my friend Steve, and like I was like, thank you so much. And he's like, well, the one I sent the show, I know it's more for Robin. And I was like, I feel so bad because I said like she's more excited than I am, and I was excited for it, and I got another gift now, and I'm like, I didn't get him anything. I feel like such a piece of garbage right now. So like I need to like have extra income so I can just make it rain on Steve. That's all I'm saying.
Make it rain on Steve.
Exactly. So
should I
cool.
be jealous?
I mean, you can be if you want to. I am at the bottom of YouTube chat. Another thing just got put up. Emma Cole says, try having an Aussie within 30 minutes of getting his first bed in his kennel. He figured out how to flip it, unzip it, and access the stuffing. That's fucking hilarious. Australian Shepherds are a pain in the ass. I have a friend who had 2 of them, and they were adorable, and they were just a handful. So
our dogs don't do anything interesting like that, I don't think.
We have a dog that's called a Shiba Inu, and if you get her any toy with a squeaker, she will find a way to chew the seam and rip the heart out of it.
Well, no, except for the one I got at Walgreens, she hasn't ripped the heart out of it.
It
has 6 hearts, okay?
She's literally pinning it down and trying to rip the seams open with her teeth, and that's the thing. Is they don't get torn apart and just ripped apart everywhere. It's like she surgically opens them and removes what she believes to be the heart of them, and then just leaves it somewhere for you to find.
Yeah.
Like, figure out who I killed, and then we repair them, and then it starts all over again.
There was one, we had like a little lamb, and its heart was just hanging out for the longest time because we were just like, oh, we'll sew it up later. But
Emma over there in YouTube says, I'm Rose on the Discord. Y'all have seen Percy before. Right on. And thank you so much for joining us on the Discord. We saw you pop in there, I think, like a week ago, maybe?
Yeah. Percy is in Percy Jackson. We have not. If it's Percy Jackson, I've never seen Percy Jackson. Let's see. Jang Mi says, moral of the story, watch Labyrinth and not Bird Box, apparently. Because everyone's talking about how amazing Labyrinth is, but not about Bird Box.
I heard a lot of good things on Bird Box, then became popular. We got all those memes, and then people were like, it's not that good. I think it's just one of those things where it was better than people expected. And then once the expectations went up, it wasn't as good as what people expected. So eventually we'll get around to watching it, I'm sure.
Yeah.
So I've heard you never see the creatures. So I'm glad I know that.
In Bird Box? Yeah. Okay. The scripty says the actor's name from Twilight is Billy Burke. I think he's cute. He's also in Rizzoli and Isles, I think, as like an agent or something. I don't remember. Liz will know. She always knows.
She always knows, especially for Rizzoli and Isles.
Let's see. Jang Mi says, fuck Bandersnatch. Pan's Labyrinth is a very beautiful movie.
Oh, okay. Emma's saying Percy is the name of her Aussie. I think she was saying that she dropped Percy into Omen Babies.
Oh, yeah. I always
obviously named for the Greek demigod Perseus.
Oh, okay. Oh, that's cool. I have seen all the animals in there. I don't remember their names.
There's so many. I scroll through them like 1, 2, boop, 1, 2, boop, ooh, spider, 1, 2, boop.
Someone posted a centipede or something today too.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh god, I'm not going in there.
Let's
it's so
see.
terrifying. All right, should I get on with my last one because it is quite long?
Yes.
Okay, cool. So I'm just gonna go ahead and mark this, and I'm gonna move on into my last email of the show, and this one subject is homegrown horror. So it starts out like this: Hey guys.
Hey.
Hello. You know me in the Discord as Littlefoot.
Oh, cool. Hello.
Hello, Littlefoot. I have been considering writing to you guys for months now, but haven't had time. I am a graduate student studying clinical mental health counseling.
That's amazing.
That is amazing. It gets better. I work 3 jobs. Holy shit. And my escape for sanity in the few brief moments I have are listening to your podcast. Having that little bit of free time and listening to us.
As a graduate student, I can't even imagine.
I feel pressure now to provide better content because if you're spending your extra time listening to us, we need to make sure it's good.
That's why we try our best not to skip any release days. And like when we realized we weren't going to be here on Monday to record and research and do all that stuff. We're doing it tonight. We're recording our episode for next week right after this so that you'll have that content.
Regularly scheduled content. Consistency for you folks that want consistency. So I'll get back to it because it's long. I have one more midterm tonight to survive, and I decided that this would be my mental health break because of something that happened the other night. Storytime.
Storytime.
I attended Lynchburg College for my undergraduate degree, and although the name changed recently to University of Lynchburg, excuse me, I am still here for my master's program. I started attending LC in 2014 when I was 17. Wow.
Wow.
My first class was for piano, so I decided to go to the chapel where the music department is located to practice the night before classes started. Warning, there is a basement involved. Well, I'm glad I get to read this then. To give you an idea of the layout of the chapel, there is the main hall upstairs where there is a grand piano, an organ, and pews for church.
Oh, cool.
Below that is the music department in the first level of the basement, which I think is fairly normal. And below that is the lower basement, which we will not speak of.
The lower basement?
That's
There's
hilarious.
a basement and a lower basement? What is wrong with these people?
The music department halls are lined with tiny rooms that contain a piano in each one.
Oh,
One
cute.
piano was retrieved from the bottom of a river a long time ago and restored.
That's incredible.
It's probably haunted, but I love it anyway. Continuing on, I am an insomniac, and the last time I looked at the clock, it was 1:52 a.m. Somewhere between 2 and 3 a.m., I heard the most beautiful piano playing I have ever heard in my life. What I realize now in hindsight is that I was alone in the chapel, and when I entered around 11 p.m., I never heard anyone enter into the chapel, which is impossible not to because the doors are all really loud and creaky. So, just to recap, you're hearing this incredibly beautiful piano music being played, and there's no one there to be playing it. Me and my dumbass thought it was an upperclassman that I could potentially befriend because we already shared something in common. I grabbed my cup of tea, which was still steaming hot, left all my materials in the room, and began to walk down the hallway to the location of the back stairwell. I continued to hear playing, and let me tell you, it filled me with joy and warmth.
Wow.
I was halfway up the stairs that led to the stage entrance of the chapel when I realized something crucial. All the lights were off.
So
That
how
is
someone
so
playing?
creepy.
Yeah.
Playing piano in the fucking dark.
Some Phantom of the Opera shit.
It reminds me of that Dana Carvey joke from his 1990 special where it's like you wake up in the middle of the night and you hear like boom, boom, boom. And it's like, oh, it's just the cat. It's just Boots. And then 10 minutes later, you hear it again, but it's like bum, 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 bum. Meow,
What?
meow, meow. It's like,
What?
and it sounded really good. It's a funny joke. Fuck you.
Okay.
Okay, I'll get back to your story. If I were to take one step forward, I would no longer be able to see my hands in front of my face. It was pitch black. I called out sheepishly, saying, hello? And the music abruptly came to a halt. Even though it was the end of August, everything was suddenly cold, and the only source of warmth came from the cup of tea that had become lukewarm. The air became thick, and I began to back down the stairs backwards because I was absolutely terrified of whoever or whatever I had just
It was
interrupted.
the Phantom of the Opera.
I don't know, but like imagine it being just like an actual other person in there that's just playing in the dark because they don't want to get caught. And like you heard this beautiful music and then they heard you and they're like, oh shit, I need to run away. But it's like, no, that was the most beautiful thing I've ever heard. It's more
my
like
God.
the Goodwill Hunting of pianos. That's when I started to hear footsteps walking toward the place I was slowly backing away from.
Shut up.
Not just
Shut
any
up.
footsteps, but the high-heeled clatter of
No.
someone who was either in a rush or obviously pissed off. Mind you, I never heard the piano bench move, nor did anyone call back out to me. The footsteps grew increasingly louder until it sounded
Go
like
faster.
Me?
No, the person walking.
The footsteps grew increasingly louder until it sounded like they stopped at the top stairs. That's when the lights went out suddenly. I
Shut
was
up.
standing
Run.
in the dark
Oh my
with a
God.
now cold cup
No.
of tea
What?
and this overwhelming feeling that I had done something majorly wrong.
You just run faster. Just
I
run
think I
way
broke the
faster.
mug by trying to put it on the ground and running towards the nearest exit at the end of the hall. I began sprinting towards my residence hall, which is only a 2-minute walk away, but it felt like I was on a never-ending path. There are light posts that line the path, and as I ran past each one, they went out. That's super fucking creepy.
Yeah, no.
I caught a glimpse of the chapel every time I turned around, and it was pitch black. Every single lamppost went the fuck out.
Oh my God.
When I finally reached the door to my residence hall, I turned around again. I watched the chapel and the lampposts come back on simultaneously. It wasn't until a few weeks later, after I befriended the upperclassmen, that I began to ask what piano players might have been playing that night. I felt guilty that I might have left them in the dark that night, and I wanted to apologize. Turns out we only had one piano player at the time, but he never comes to the chapel after midnight because of Helen Wood.
What?
The small recital hall located in the music department was named after her, and her portrait hangs on the wall. Sometimes it seems as though her eyes will follow you.
Shut
There
up.
is a picture attached here that I am now going to open so that Rob and I can see it, so we can see if her eyes do indeed follow us. And of course, Windows is like, which app would you like to use to open that? She's very pretty.
Really pretty.
It does look like her eyes are following you, and she's wearing a very nice, lovely yellow dress. So this is Helen Wood, and it does look like her eyes will follow you. Let me get back to it. Come on. I wish I could use a mouse so bad. There are many stories of strange happenings in that room during class time, but all the upperclassmen could not wrap their heads around a freshman having no knowledge of this myth, yet having this story. She was an integral part of developing the music department, so it makes sense why some part of her might linger there.
Wow.
How does this connect to 2018? Let me tell you. I was studying in a different building on campus until around 2 a.m. Next thing I know, I can only tell them shadow people began to show up. What? Okay, so that just took a really, really weird turn. Let me mark that. I assumed it was my own sleep deprivation playing tricks on me until I saw a girl I had never met before sprinting down the hallway towards the front door. I followed her out and asked if she was okay because who in the hell would have a reason to run anywhere at 2 a.m. She told me she ran away because she thought she saw someone staring at her through the classroom door window, and when she looked, a shadow proceeded down the hallway.
No way.
Okay, so these are the shadow people that were showing up. We both noped the fuck out of there. The people from the original Conjuring story visited our campus a few years ago.
Shut up.
And when asked if they felt anything there, we were warned not to mess with things we don't understand. It had to have been a while ago because we just talked about Ed Warren passing away in 2006. So we should look into that. I didn't believe them then, but I do believe them now. I've had many other strange things happen here and elsewhere, but this was one of the first times I could not come up with a rational explanation for what happened. Thank you guys so much for listening. I know it was long. Please feel free to share on the podcast. It would honestly make my life. Well, there you go. We're very happy to make your life. I am so thankful for the Discord. I wish I could give you guys money, but I am broke, so I bring other broke college students to listen to you instead.
Nice.
That is amazing, and we appreciate that so much. If you want some other stories I have, let me know. I will happily send them your way. Keep on creeping on. Sincerely, Littlefoot.
Thank you so much.
That was a really, really, really good, super fucking creepy story. Yeah. So thank you so much for sending that, and we will email you back and say, yo, dog, email us back. We need more of them stories, because that one was really, really fucking good. Just the idea of you being in the pitch black and like a seemingly innocuous task that would be performed in the light being performed in the dark is instantly fucking creepy. Yeah. And then when you say something, it just stops and you hear footsteps.
Yeah, no,
that's so fucking
the clicking
creepy.
of high heels like is so
specific.
And then just hearing it faster and faster and faster, it would freak me out. I would have dropped it. I would have dropped that mug and not tried to place it on the ground. I would have ran.
Just thrown it at the fucking piano.
Just been like, take that, Helen.
That's hilarious. But she didn't know the name yet. You couldn't shout out like, take that, Helen, quite yet.
Damon!
So, that's so funny. But super creepy. Very good story. Thank you so much for sending it in.
Yeah. A funny story about me. When I used to go to community college in Texas, there was a stand-up piano, like a half piano, in our lunchroom. And I wanted to learn how to play the piano. And I wasn't going to pay classes to play the piano. So I just played that one in the lunchroom to try and learn from it. And I think after like the third day of me trying to learn how to play it, and I had like sheet music from like Kingdom Hearts or something.
That's hilarious.
And they removed the piano.
Wow.
And I think it was my fault.
That's
that
so rude of them.
It doesn't matter. I only went to school there for like a year, so.
Wow, that's shitty. That's super shitty.
Yeah.
They're probably like, this is here for people who know how to play, not people who are practicing. That's why I've never tried to learn an instrument since I've been moved out of my parents' house, because it's like, I don't want to inconvenience roommates or neighbors by listening to me learn and like struggle through sounding really terrible.
Yeah.
That's only the kind of pain that you can inflict on a parent, I think. So
I had when I was younger, I tried to learn the guitar, and we had neighbors downstairs because my parents were the landlords. So we had people that lived downstairs, and I was learning how to play the guitar. And then one day they were like smacking the ground, probably like with a broom or something, you know, on the ceiling, like cut it the fuck out. So I was like, okay, never again.
That is the international symbol for smacking the ground.
Shut up.
Right on. So let's go over into that stream chat. I don't think there was actually a lot of chitter chatter during that story. So either everyone's in some other channel, maybe Discord, talking about corn, or they were enraptured by the story, which I hope is the case.
So we'll just go into marbles.
You have a story still.
I do? No, I don't.
I thought I started.
I started.
You started?
Yes.
You're sure?
Yes.
You're full of shit.
No, I started.
Look at her. Look at her. That's a lying face right there. What was it when we were all hanging out playing Jackbox for New Year's. There was like 7 of us. And what the hell was it? It was like find the traitor or find the liar. I forget what it was, but it was like everyone got instructions on something that they had to do, and one person didn't get any instructions, and it would just say like hold up fingers and try and blend in. And so like you'd have 3 rounds to try and get through without people realizing that you were full of shit. And Beast Nerd, who I don't think is here tonight, but while we were playing it, Beast Nerd, every time someone would be like, I think it's this person, he'd be like, that's traitor talk. It's got to be you. And that just became like the phrase of the night. So right on. So we are done. Find the faker. That's what it was. That's faker talk. That is totally what it was.
Let's see. Zwazzle says, I spent far too much time trying to find Scary-ish on Reddit. I found it a few times as recommendations for spooky pods.
Right on.
That is amazing.
It's really good to know.
Everybody that's doing that and like sharing us with people, we are so incredibly thankful because we couldn't be here without you. And we really, really couldn't. It's awesome.
Ah, it's so nice to know that people actually recommend us to other people, and I hope we don't disappoint. I really don't, and we have good reviews on iTunes. We have 117, I checked it today. 114 are 5 stars, and then we have, I think, 2 3 stars and 1 1 star, which hasn't changed in forever. So, cool.
Yeah, I started.
You did start, so
Girl
we are
Panic
going to...
says so.
I see that, thank you. We are going to move into Marbles on Stream. For anyone watching on the YouTube, switch over to twitch.tv/scarishpodcast. If you would like to participate. Robin, do a little bit of vamping before we get there. Tell us about what you think might be the first movie that you make me watch for You've Never Seen That while I get this set up.
Let's see. I don't know. I'm going to pull up the list right now, and I have to add Princess Diaries to it anyway.
That is a smart thing to do.
There are so many movies that I've chosen and put to the side.
I have so many movies on that list because I kept thinking of making this list and us doing this podcast, and I kept telling myself I'm going to have a list that we can write shit down on. And finally we got that list, and I couldn't remember like any of them, and then they all just started flooding back to me, and I would just go on my phone and get on Google Docs and find that list and drop it in there, and I was just so happy that I had a place to finally put that stuff.
My first one for you might have to be Neverending Story.
Oh.
Because
God damn it.
I love the Neverending Story and the fact that you've never, ever seen it.
I've seen parts of it even as a kid. I'm like, okay, so like the Nothing is doing something and that horse just drowned in that swamp. Okay, cool, I'm good. Let's put on Daffy Duck's Quackbusters.
That's like the worst part.
Yeah, and it just didn't affect me like it affected everyone else. I was like, whatever. Oh, Bambi's mom got shot. No big fucking deal. So, and that's not true. I was affected by Bambi's mom dying as a young child, just like we all were.
I wasn't.
That's fucked up. Okay, so I'm going to move over into Marbles on Stream. So, ladies and gentlemen and other, or I don't know how to say that, like everyone's included, fudge it. Go ahead and vote for whichever track you want to race by typing !vote, a space, and then the number 143am. Just subscribed. Thank you so much, 143am. We appreciate you
so much.
Every time you subscribe. You probably have a message attached to it. I can't see it while we're in this mode, but I will certainly check it out as soon as we get out of Marbles on Stream.
Cool.
So folks, go ahead and start voting for what you'd like to race, and then after that we'll get in there and everyone will get their marble.
All right. What do I want to vote on? Let's see what sounds good. Ooh, that one sounds good. Let's see. Play. Oh no, what is it? Vote.
!vote, space, then the number.
Space, numero 15. Oh, what? Zwazzles chose the same one. Twinsies! Let's see. Yeah, no, I think you're going to have to watch The Neverending Story. That's my first one. That or Digimon the movie.
Let's do Neverending Story.
All right.
Digimon the movie.
I love Digimon the movie, okay? Like...
I just have words, but I just don't want to even use them right now.
Or Mulan.
Mulan. I could watch Mulan. I would actually like to watch Mulan.
Mulan is one of my all-time favorite Disney movies. And it's probably not obvious that it is, but I'm Asian. Mulan's Asian. And, you know, stand up.
Get up, stand up. Stand up for your life. Cool. So we have 10 votes for number 15, Marble Centauri.
Or High School Musical.
Out of 15. Please don't make me watch that.
You're
at least
gonna
not to
have
start
to.
out. So, like, that's the thing, though. If we're going to start the podcast, we need to pick some things that people are very familiar with that they're literally going to see and be like, how have they never seen that before? Neverending Story would be one of those things. Digimon the movie and High School Musical, maybe more, but I don't know. Okay, just I'll let you pick. It's your choice, but keep that in mind. Marble Centauri is clearly by far and away the winner of the track we're going to race first. So let's get that started. Once it gets in there, I will let you know when to do it. And not yet. Okay. Exclamation point play to get your marble on stream.
Exclamation point play. Yes. Have you watched Labyrinth? You have, right?
We literally went over this twice in this episode.
Oh.
I haven't seen Labyrinth since I was a little kid.
Okay. Oh my God, Brandon, see The Little Mermaid. You can't not watch The Little Mermaid.
Little Mermaid is very good. I love that movie when I was a kid. Now as an adult, I'm like, God, you're so stupid, Ariel. Listen to your fucking
when
dad.
it's like, oh, you don't understand me, Dad.
I love him.
I love. It's like
you're
16.
stupid. You don't know what
Get
you know
outta
what the fuck you want right now. You brush your hair with a fork, you dumb bitch. God.
What is it called? A dingle hopper?
It is a dingle hopper, yes.
I always what do I always bring up? I always bring up the line where she's like, "What do you call them?" Oh,
legs,
feet.
I don't fucking know. I like how I needed to be struck for getting that wrong. Yeah, how stupid of me. She has a tail. Shout out to Aplex City who just followed us. Thank you so much for following. We appreciate you. Thank you for striking me, dick.
Legs. What do you call them? Oh, legs.
Yeah,
I'm
this
like
is the funniest fucking joke I've ever said.
It's
okay.
not it's a joke or anything. It's just like, how can you mix that up?
Meadows has said, watch Dark Crystal, and Chessy Cat has agreed. So, Dark Crystal, why does it sound familiar? I'll look into it.
Exclamation point play, everyone.
I think just about everyone is in. We have 16 marbles. We had 15 votes. That means everyone plus one that voted for the track has joined us for the race.
Okay. I just see that we had like 30 viewers on Twitch, so I was like, 30 people, press exclamation point play.
If you guys haven't pressed exclamation point play yet, you have 10 seconds to do so from now, or else you're not going to get your marble on stream to race. Whoever wins will get some small swag, which is just stickers that we're going to mail to you, but it's still something for free, and it's fun for us to send it to you. So
you can do it on Xbox. You
clicking
can do it on
start.
PS4. You
there
can do it on
is
all
the
those
countdown.
things.
Let's get a look at this track. There's a jump here that's going to kill everyone, an elevator, and dear Lord, this thing is long. So here we go. It's the funnel to start, which we all know isn't our favorite thing. It's following Glitchgrim first, which I'm not sure why. Akasuna no Kairi is in first place, and Meadows just shot through that tunnel. He's the first one to make the jump. He went over the edge and is dead.
Wow, that was fast.
Along with Akasuna no Kairi.
Man.
Girl Panic completed the jump without dying. This is going to be a rough one, but Girl Panic is way fucking ahead. But like we know, at this point, Jangmi is in second place, and she's just making that jump, and she survived it as well. That this track is clearly going to kill off a lot of people, so Girl Panic might be in the lead, but that doesn't mean that she won't die. So let's keep an eye on it.
Just so
I died, Silver
died,
Glitchgrim died. Good Lord. These stairs are kind of dangerous because there's an opening right there. But Girl Panic is going down these pretty well, like a fucking pro.
They're so bouncy, though. Just watching them stresses me out.
This is an interesting track. I don't hate it like I've hated previous tracks because it's not bringing everything to a stop. David says, Adam, how have you never seen The Neverending Story? I just never have. Like, it would get put on every now and then around me, and I just never would watch it. Ulri has died. Switch Fox has died. Alice has died. There's only 9 people left in this race. The Scriptory has died. There's 8 people left. Girl Panic is still in the lead and has not fallen off yet. And it's possible that if she just stays on course, she will take this. Someone else just died.
That was me.
Was that you?
Yes.
Robin just died. I'm happy about that one.
Wow. You'll be happy when I'm dead.
I'm just happy that you don't get to finish if I don't get to finish, because I just want to stay ahead of you.
Is that your goal in life?
Pretty much. I don't like these little nubs. They slow everything down. Will Girl Panic blow a 3-1 lead? She's so far ahead at this point, this feels more like a 3-0 lead. Let's be real. That fan blade is going to kick her right out of there. Yep. Into the next elevator, and then I don't know how much is left.
My goodness.
There's only 6 people left on this race. So this is just an endurance test at this point. Girl Panic is dead. We knew it might happen. It has happened. This might be the first time we would find out what happens if everyone dies. There's 4 marbles left on this stream, and there's still these pulsating rods that are going to launch people off if they get hit by them. Dear Lord, this is terrifying.
This is terrifying.
It's like just slightly tilted enough where
my goodness.
Valley is actually moving forward. Ooh, okay. Oh, they made it through. I think Valley Grills is going to be our winner for the first race of the evening. Abe's Monster was right there in second place. 143 AM is in third place, way back there. And Everyone else is dead. 777 says pulsating rods are known to terrify people. Terrify or other things, just saying.
Wow. Keep your pulsating rods to yourself.
For 3 a.m. is going backwards.
Whoa!
Oh, just snuck through,
Yeah.
but didn't make it through.
Okay. All right.
We only have a minute 30 of this left to watch.
So, Valley Girls, if you would like to send us your mailing address, I'll mail you some nice scary stickers that we have.
You can email us, storytime@scarish.com, or message us on Twitch. That works as well. 143am says MVP, slowing down the game. Easy. That's so funny. Oh, wow. Just hanging out in this elevator. I think you might have gotten stuck. Good Lord.
This is like, Brandon, what the fuck?
Can he make it through? We're about to find out. This is a pretty good line he's on. It looks like he's going to miss the center pillars and the right pillars. Yeah. Okay.
Solid.
You are going to finish.
Right,
you are going to
so
get points for the season. So that's a good thing.
One more race for the night, and then we're going to record the next episode.
Oh, man. There's so much still left to do. Glitch Grim is still in the lead for the season with 22 points. Valley Girls has their first win. Glitch has 2 wins. Alice has 2 wins as well. And it looks like I have 16 points sitting there, and now Valley Girls has 14 points. So fun stuff. Let's go ahead and back out and go ahead and do this one more time, and then everyone can be on their merry way. So we're going to go to the menu. We're going to look at these race tracks, and then you guys, again, get to vote on what you would like to race. So let's try and pick a different one. That was fun, but I say we pick a different one this time. So let's go with that.
All right. I made a vote. Did it work?
Yes, it did.
Sweet.
You have to pick a number. 777. I see exclamation point play. Exclamation point vote 69. Well done.
Is that a number on
No,
here?
it's not.
Oh, okay.
69 is when a man loves a woman. And that's as far as I'm going to go.
Loves a woman.
We got 10 votes in there pretty quick. And it's a tie because they're all over the place. So
there's so many numbers, so many maps. Are there new? Do they like swap ones out? Like they?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure they do. There's some of them that look familiar, and there's some of them that I've never heard of before, and that number goes up and down too. So, what are we at? Return to Sender right now is number 1, and it's kind of cool because Valley Grills won, and their vote is listed down here as a selection that could possibly be made.
That is awesome.
She also chose Return to Sender, which has 4 votes out of 15, which is in the lead right now, and we could also do random map. So.
Let's just do Return to Sender.
Oh, 143 says, I love you, Malum. Thank you so much. I love you too. Okay, we're just going to go with Return to Sender. We're not going to sit around and wait on this too long. Let's not figure it out because, I mean, it's just, funsies. So.
Balls. It's just balls.
Balls on stream. All right, we got a Plinko machine, and I think under that we actually have a funnel. So that's kind of intense. Exclamation point play.
Okay,
Join in
so
right now.
Exclamation point play, everybody. Let's see. What other movies are really good? I really want you to watch some anime stuff.
Yeah, I figured that was going to happen.
So there's got to be some really good movies that you haven't seen. Or movies at all. I don't know if you've watched any. We got to watch the Naruto movies. Those will be fun.
Ugh.
You like it.
I like it, but it's just like, I don't know. We'll watch whatever you want to watch. I mean, that's just the way the show is going to go. But if you make me watch things that I really don't want to watch, I'm going to make you watch something that I know you really don't want to watch.
Like what?
I don't know, but I'll figure it out. We have 17 marbles in, so we have 1 more than we had.
No, we had
16.
No, we had 17
16.
last time. 17, I fucking remember, bitch.
Glitch Grim says, Death Note, I will not let this go. I have watched it. The live action.
The live action?
It was
no.
good. That show doesn't make any sense.
Shut your fucking mouth.
Jupiter Ascending says Swazzles. We're trying to not have a bad movie podcast, and that movie looked like fucking garbage. So
Death Note, the new live action that has fucking Silver Surfer, whatever his name is. What is it? The speedster in the X-Men movie.
What are you talking about? Death Note?
The new Death Note. It doesn't have the new X-Men one. It has the guy in Marvel, the Marvel side.
No, it doesn't. That's not the same actor.
Yes, it is.
No, he wouldn't be caught dead in that movie. That's totally not him. He has a career. He wouldn't be in Netflix's Death Note.
Yes, he is.
Nope. You can IMDb that shit all you want. All right, ladies and gentlemen, if you haven't gotten your marble in the stream yet, you have 10 seconds to do so by typing exclamation point play. I'm going to go ahead and start it. The only character that is from the Marvel Universe, the only character in that's voiced by someone from a Marvel Universe is Green Goblin from the original Spider-Man, which is, what's his face? I can't remember it right now for some goddamn reason. Is the dad. Or no, he's the demon.
You're right.
I am right.
I hate you. I hate that you're right.
What the hell is his name? Why can't I remember his name? Creepy face, creepy voice. He would make a really good Joker. He's Green Goblin. What the hell is his name? Help me out here.
What?
The demon.
Oh,
Willem Dafoe. It's Willem Dafoe.
Okay.
Not William. Willem. There's portals all over this fucking thing, and it's kind of cool.
Yeah, no, the original live actions we can totally watch. The ones in Japanese, fuck yeah. But
there's
not
a
the
lot of
American
pulsating
live
rods
action.
coming up here.
Survive the scriptery, survive.
There's a lot of zig. Oh, God.
Oh.
Glitch just went right through. I think he might miss the portal, though.
No. Oh, I thought someone was going over and we were watching it happen.
It won't let me change off of Akasuna no Kairi. It insists they're in first place. And it's just taking me further and further back every time I try and switch. So I have no idea where anyone's at. All I know is Pancakes 29's Ghost Ball, the record, is way up there. It says Switch Fox is leading now. And when I go to Switch Fox, it goes even further back. This game has no idea who's in first place. Let's go with second place, which is Silver. I think this is accurate. I think Silver right now is in the lead. Ulrich just died. Meadows just died.
Wow.
Malum just died. Damn it. No points for me tonight. Here comes more pulsating rods. It says Girl Panic's in first place now. I have no idea where first place is. Here's those goddamn blocks that stop everyone. Girl Panic looks like they're going to win. Pancakes 2-9 just showed where their record was. So Girl Panic is completely stopped right now on these squares. It's really annoying that it didn't let me get to first place for the longest time.
I have never watched Grave of the Fireflies, and I'm really afraid to.
I've never heard of it.
It's an anime movie, but someone posted a picture of the
Congratulations.
poster.
Oh, yeah. That was some fucked up shit.
I was like, what?
Congratulations, Girl Panic 9-5. You have won.
Yet again.
Congratulations. We're waiting on everyone else to finish out. Jangmi is in second place, and everyone's just up here in this weird fucking funnel. This might take a little while, so strap in. We have 1:38. Jangmi says you're going to sob so hard.
I believe it. I totes believe it. I can't. When I saw that poster, I was like, what? No, I can't.
It's like no one is getting through this. It's just kicking everyone right out. I think Akasuna might have made their way through. And they got to zigzag through these squares that break up that just stop. Like, it makes sense for maps for like people that have a ton of marbles on their stream.
Yeah.
It's like, because people are just going to come to a dead stop, and then everyone's going to hit this, and
And
maybe they'll be
blast
going
right
fast and they'll knock
Yeah.
over it, but like it's just not the case for having like 15 to 20 balls on the stream. It just slows everything so far down.
Poor Kyrie.
Right? This is just slow and painful. Let's see who's in third place. Yep, up here. Everyone is
Oh my
still trying to get
gosh.
through this stupid fucking funnel of death.
That's insane.
It
dude.
is, because it's just the centrifugal force, or centrifugal, is just throwing everyone out. That thing is just way too hyped up. Switch Fox is trying so hard to get in that hole. Oh, here comes something that's just eliminating people. Cool. Only 2 people finished that one. It was Girl Panic and Akasuna no Kairi. So congratulations to you two.
Wow.
It looks like Akasuna no Kairi is up to 16 points for the season, and Girl Panic is up to 15 and has gotten themselves 1 win. So that was really fun.
Nice. All right.
I am moving us back to the live stream view while I close this out. So, Robin, tell everyone how much you love them.
I love everyone so much.
I was like, is she going to say something?
No. Chelsea Cat says to make sure we have a box of Kleenex when we watch Grave of the Fireflies. And, yes, so Girl Panic, I think I have your mailing address still. So I think I have a magnet still that I can send you. Silver Bidsit says Gil 6 is going to win one day.
That's hilarious. One day, Gil 6. One day. You win at commenting on every YouTube video, and I love you for it. So, cool. That was the end of that, and I think we're going to go ahead and move into the end of the show. So, unless you can think of anything else,
No?
then I'll move into Z Transition, where I say the bye-bye. So I think that's everything that we have for you folks for this episode of Storytime. Thank you so much to everyone who came out and watched it recorded live at twitch.tv/scarishpodcast or youtube.com/scarish.
Yeah.
It makes it so much fun when you folks come out and interact. We love talking to you. We are eventually going to have a new date and time for the show to go along with Robin's new school schedule. And I'm sure you all understand that. And I hope that we can get even more of you out to watch. And it's just it's a really good time. So once again, thank you to everyone who sent in your own homegrown horrors. And if you would like to do so, email storytime@scarish.com. You can also go to the website, scarish.com. Go to contact us, fill out that form. It has our P.O. box there in case you want to know. You can go to facebook.com/scarishpodcast if you want to reach out to us. Click like on the page. We're almost at that dreaded 666 number.
Really?
But I really want to push past that and get on our way to 1,000 because that's going to be a really cool number to hit.
That'll be so cool.
It really will. So we're excited to get there. You can join the Scarish Spooky Friends group on Facebook, and we have a lot of fun activity there every day. You can also join our Discord server. You can post your stories there for some instant feedback. People will let you know what they think, and then eventually we will read them as well. When those things get posted, we tend to not read them when they're on the thing, but we highlight them, we copy them, we put them into an email, and we send it to ourselves so that we can put it like in the line, so to speak.
Yeah.
So if you want to get to the Discord, go to our website and just scroll down on the right-hand side. There's an icon for every social media thing that we have. You can click those and go to it, and it'll take you straight to our Discord server. Twitter is @ScarishPod. Instagram is @ScarishPodcast. And I think that's all of our social medias. And we want to remind everyone that coming up at the beginning of February, we're going to be starting a brand new podcast called You've Never Seen That? And I'm really kicking around the idea of the beginning of every episode when we announce the name, it just gets more and more hostile.
No.
Because I just really like the idea of me just screaming into a microphone.
Because eventually I'm just going to start beating you.
That's not shocking, and I don't think anyone would be surprised by that. But we're really excited to start it. So it's going to be a fun time. And Robin, for anyone who wants to support Scarish, let them know how they can do so.
All right. So Adam is doing this whole January Patreon push
We're
thing.
all doing it together, Robin. Thank you.
So if you go to patreon.com/scaryishpodcast, patreon.com/scaryishpodcast, we do have a whole bunch of tiers, some that have physical goodies that come in there. I know we've had a few new people join us, and we are so absolutely thankful. If you guys come and support us, that'd be great. It lets us have more time to do this stuff.
It literally is as quick as you go to patreon.com/scarishpodcast. It's like an impulse buy for anything else, except it's really cheap. You get early access to everything we do, plus all the other stuff Robin has mentioned. So it is a perfect time to go do it. It's always a perfect time to go do it, but we're really pushing to try and get to 50 by the end of this month. So, and if we do, 50 is our goal for going to the Winchester Mansion, and the January Patreon push goal of getting to 50 is I dress up like a cheerleader. So I don't know if you want to do that or you don't, but hey, please go and sign up. We would really, really appreciate it.
Cool. And then if you go to ko-fi.com, coffee.com/scaryish podcast, those are one-time donations, and those donations help us upgrade the studio setup. So if you guys want to help us upgrade and get better lights and stuff, that'd be great.
I'm so happy that we finally have mounting equipment for our new camera, because this is the first episode that we have shot on a camera that is not duct taped to a tripod. It is actually professionally mounted to the tripod. It has worked so well, and I'm so thankful for all of you who have donated. Thank you so much. And for those of you who are broke, and we totally understand that, you more than you would ever know, you can go to iTunes and leave us a review. You can leave us a rating. You can tell a friend about us. You can share our episode when we post it. We don't just do those for entries. Like, people that know us personally share our episodes too, and it, like, you know how many people you have on your friends list, folks. If even one person out there might be interested in it, you could share it and tag them and be like, hey, you might like this. And then if they do, that's one more listener that we picked up. And like, it's like that thing in Wayne's World. Then they tell two friends, then they tell two friends, and so on and so on. And word of mouth is the best marketing. And you folks have been so kind to us with that. And we want to encourage everyone to keep doing it. We really do. So one last time, thank you to everyone that participates in these episodes. Thank you to everyone that listens to us. Thank you to all the ghost listeners who have never commented, who have never done a review, who have never done any of that stuff, because we know so many of you are out there, and we appreciate you so immensely for just listening to us. We really sincerely do. So I don't think I really have anything else.
No.
Unless you can think of anything else.
I am good.
Cool. I will let you handle the sign out then.
So keep on creeping on, and we'll talk to you guys next week.
Bye.